Lift off indeed. The countdown is here. No more waiting. Happy Bye Day, people out there. Yes, it is Group 1 day here on Racing Post Live with Betfair along the way, showing you everything about the exchange, all the sportsbook offers coming your way with lots of tips, raucous reaction, the best anti-post analysis in the business. Dave Orton, thrilled to be back with you on what looks a pretty sunny afternoon out there. Newbury and Newmarket, the order of the day. 7 races culminating in that Lockinge. Who's with Baid? Then anyone brave enough to take him on, the star poster boy miler? Let's be hearing from you. This is an interactive show, of course. You can do so if you're watching on YouTube by liking and subscribing. Give us a thumbs up and let us know you're out there. We'll be giving you a big cheer along the way. Of course, anything on Facebook and hashtag RP Live. Group 1 performers on the track. Group 1 performers in the studio where the sun shines brightly because Natalie Green, the RP Live Queen, joins us back. How are you?
Got myself more as a Group 3 kind of girl, if I'm honest.
Well, I don't know. Don't do yourself down.
Don't hype yourself up too much. I'm very excited. The flat's coming thick and fast, isn't it? Like, Chester was great, York, Newbury and Newmarket. Great. And I actually love those 2 tracks comparable, Newbury being the big galloping track suiting certain type of horses, and then Newmarket with the slight undulation and the dips. It's kind of cool to get stuck into. But yeah, Baid. It's exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely. Classic winning Kate Tracey comes in.
Top level handicapper at best, I think
I've got to throw it to Dublin, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I've gone from Group 1 to Classic. How are you, Kate?
Really well, thank you. Yeah, happy to be back. It's a beautiful day outside, so no better day to be sat in the studio with you both.
Pressing the buttons along the way?
Yes, exactly. Yep, got all of the gear again.
Now, last time you were in with us, it was the 365 Gold Cup, wasn't it? And you picked out the big winner, the Irish winner there.
Yeah,
got anything for us along the way?
Well, hopefully today I've got a couple of bets in the London Gold Cup. That's a race that I love to cite in general. It's just a great platform for 3-year-olds to really springboard their campaign. So hopefully some bets in there. And without bets, just against Baid, because, like I say, I can't wait to see him.
All right, OK, fantastic stuff. So that's the studio panel. Let us go to Dublin then. He was born in a lion's den. He's a chief amongst men. It's Barry Orr.
Selling plater at best, Dave. Selling plater.
How are we, Barry? Now, I said to you before we came in, I came into the office yesterday and Paul Keeley was here, and I hadn't seen him since Punchestown. And I said, how was your trip, Keels? Obviously, he's written a lot about it. He's got a lot of love on social about that, hasn't he? He said, do you know what? I had a great time. And he said, it was no thanks to Barry Orr. He's now got a chauffeur, Paul Keeley. Every time he goes to Ireland, he gets picked up from the hotel. Barry takes him for lunch, and he makes sure he's tucked up in bed at 10 p.m. every night. You're losing your touch, man.
Yeah, you got to look after the good ones, Dave, don't you? It was a pleasure to himself and Tony Calvin came over, 2 old warriors that they are. They behaved themselves now, it has to be said. They were bright and bushy-tailed every morning to the races. We went, we had a bit of lunch in the Puchin still on the way, and then dropped them home. They didn't even go out to Nace any night. So unlike Kate, I'm sure, they were tucked up nice and early in bed, like you say.
Yeah, she's not croaky either, so we know she's had a nice quiet night beforehand. And then some friends of mine met Barry at Newmarket, and honestly, the praise that was coming his way, it was insufferable. But anyway, there we are. Barry, let's talk about some business then. We've got a money back special today. That's at Newmarket, right?
We do the 225 in Newmarket is the money back special on the Betfair Sportsbook and Exchange. If your horse fails to place there, you get your cash back as a free bet up to a tenner. Check out the T's and C's on the website for that. That's the 225 in Newmarket. We'll speak again that later on. And then the 245, the London Cup, additional place there, 4 places instead of 3 again on the Sportsbook in the London Gold Cup. And we'll kick off, I think, Kate, with our Lucky 15. Which we do every week. It's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator and 4 singles. So it's 15 bets. We're going to do it for a quid each way. So it's going to cost us 30 quid. The first leg of that is in Newbury in the 135 Cadamos Stoke. Ryan gives it a very favourable mention. Ryan Moore on his blog, which you can read exclusively on betting.betfair. Then in the 245, the London Gold Cup, like I said, there's 4 places there to each way punters on the Sportsbook. We're going to select Red Vineyard there. I think form of that win was franked yesterday. He's a horse I like. Then the 320 in the big race, not taken on by Eve there. It's very difficult to do. He looked a class apart from these. But New Mandate in the without market is a horse that really interests me at around 13-2. And then our last leg over to Newmarket for that money back special race at 245. The favourite, Haymaker, currently 9-4, so he's not an each way price. He was 7-2 earlier on in the week. I think he might drift out a little. There's money for a couple of horses around him in that race. So they're the 4 for our Lucky 15. Fingers crossed, it's about $2,500 if that comes up for the charity. Again, we haven't selected a charity yet for the month of May, so happy to take direction from our social guys on that. Anyone on YouTube, wants to drop a comment into the comment box there, we'll happily take it on board.
There you go. There's your opportunity then. The merry month of May. Yeah, we're halfway through, aren't we? God, what's on the horizon? Diamond Jubilee over here, of course. Derby, and then we've got Royal Ascot, and we're looking further afield. Glorious Goodwood.
Don't look at. I had to check we're in May. I was like, that halfway through
It
May.
does creep
God,
up a bit, doesn't it? It does creep up a little bit.
It does.
We've got, so the 150 is our first race. Listen, if you're new to the show, welcome along. We'll have lots of fun here today. We're lifting it up. Honestly, we know that some of you like to take us to the track, watching in pubs, gardens, all that sort of thing today. It's 1:35, of course, isn't it? Thank you, Nat. And there is the market there, look. So this is what the live real market, basically. You can see Barry's each way lucky 15 as well, for those of you that missed it. I think we're all going without, by the way, bar one person in the Lockinge. Now, you're getting a bit cocky with these, aren't you?
I am getting so cocky.
The confidence is brimming off you, I can see.
What did you call me last time? Exotic?
The exotic queen, Nat Green.
Yeah, the
Yes.
exotic queen, Nat Green.
Yeah.
Which got a lot of interesting social comments.
If you say things like that to me, it's just going to inspire me further to just...
Oh, but it has, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're going to knock out the trifecta in the
I
biggie.
am. 100%.
Amazing.
You don't want me to say it yet.
But Bide, no, I don't. But Bide is obviously one of the three, isn't it? In there,
Might be.
it's a strong race, isn't it? Lockinge. Who wins? Come on,
It's
let's
a good
see
race, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see some people in the chat saying that Bide is the next big thing. Barry, I'll come to you with this. The mile division, no Palace Pier now, of course, who won this last year. That was great, wasn't it, when they were, locked horns at Ascot on Champions Day. We need this division to have more than one, don't we? So we'll see whether the 3-year-olds might match up to him later on, but this is his now and then the Queen Anne, isn't it?
Yeah, we won't see the 3-year-olds for a while, but maybe Mother Earth could potentially put it up to a new mandate. A horse that I fancy in the without market might get close, but it takes the favourite to underperform. Like he could realistically perform maybe 5 or 6 pounds under his official rating and still win this. You know, Alcohol Free was very disappointed on her first run back. Like Mother Earth could have a chance, new mandate could have a chance, but again, it would take the favourite to underperform.
Yeah, well, so look, there you go. So, Barry, we won't get it up, but just quickly, what's he trading at out there in the 320 at the moment? I'm assuming just under 2's on, is he?
Yeah, around the 4 to 9 mark at the moment on the exchange. Dave's 2 to 5 on the sportsbook.
Okay, and don't forget 4 places on the 245 London Gold Cup, just to 12 runners in that, and it does look wide open, so might want to avail yourself of that. I certainly will be. Let's get some tips out the way then. Barry, is there a trade in this first? Cadamosto is in the lucky 15?
Yeah, there's a trade here for me. I'm laying Ezra in the in running. What we're going to do here, Kate? Obviously, won in Ascot 6 furlongs in July. That worked out a terrible race. The second's an 82 rated maiden after 4 runs. The third is a 65 rated maiden after 6 runs. Stepped up to 7 furlongs in the Acom and just didn't get home. Dropped back then. Weakened quickly behind Go Bears Go at Ascot last time out after trading 6 to 4 run. I think this horse is a little bit of a short runner. So what we're going to do, Kate, please, it's currently 7.2 or 7.4. We're going to click on the lay side, and then we're just going to populate that box with 2, which is even money, and we're going to look to take 50 quid out of the backer stake. So if you populate the box at 2, 50 quid, then click place bet and confirm bet, and then select to keep it in running.
Okay, just go over that again, please, Barry. So I've got errors there, 7.4, backer stake 50. Yeah. Okay, and now
not 7.4. Populate that box with 2. Put 2 in the box where the 7.4 is.
Yeah, put 2
just
in
put
there.
2 in there.
Yeah.
And we're looking to lay. So that's even money. We're looking to lay it at even. So click confirm bet.
Yeah.
And then
so place bet, confirm bet.
Up there it says unmatched bet. If you click keep, that keeps the bet in play. So when
and then keep
all bets that you don't select the keep bet tab beforehand, all bets are automatically cancelled before the race goes in play. If you select keep, that means the bet will stay in play. So we're looking to lay this horse at even money in running. I think he'll travel well, but I don't think he'll win the race. So it's an in-running play here.
Will I click update there, Barry, after I've clicked on the keep? We'll just leave it as it is.
Yes.
Okay,
please,
now click update. Perfect, got it.
Education.
Well, that's very good.
Knowledge is power.
Always ask these questions.
Absolutely. Barry loves it when that happens because it means that the viewers out there are learning
Kate,
as well.
that's what we're here for.
We're all here to learn. Every day's a school day.
Every day's a school day.
Every day. I'm just glad it wasn't me pressing the buttons, but I watched.
I'm glad it wasn't you pressing the
Yeah,
buttons.
I know.
We'll get you one day pressing those buttons because you'll be well able to do it, and it's an educational process, and that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
That's
Okay, yeah. All right. So we know, listen, Eras, and he sort of flattered to deceive a bit at Ascot, didn't he? I was there that day and I thought he was coming to do it. And the key with the race, I suppose, hierarchy, just before him, talking of hierarchy, shall we go down in order of hierarchy? So it's Kate, Tracey taking it first. What wins?
Nicely done. Hopefully hierarchy then. Hopefully we're sticking down that theme. Yeah, I just think in this race he looks overpriced there. I know that Eras ran through the race like the best horse in the race. He travelled through there, but as Barry's just been saying, he did flatter to deceive them within that, rather than Hierarchy, who actually then finished in front of him. I just think that form can be upheld here. Obviously, the Hugo Palmer form is just flying since he's moved to Manor House Stables and has taken over there with his new recruits, with the horses he's brought up then with him. And the fact that Hierarchy is coming back to where he posted his career best performance then, when only ahead second in the Mill Reef, surely that has stand him in just solid stead really in this race.
Yeah, so course form as well, isn't it? Which I suppose if you're on the Fav is something that you're not going to be sure about. We'll get to Type Flow in a minute after Nat Green gives us her opinion as well.
Yes, so the way I've looked at it is that race with Eras, Go Bears Go, Hierarchy. Hierarchy is absolutely my pick to win. The Mill Reef, I thought actually he was quite keen in that race, and I think he's actually grown up a little bit since then, which is what I love to see. Kate's already alluded to the fact that the move to Manor House has been great guns really for Hugo Palmer. He's flying, which is what we want to see. It's fantastic. Had a relatively good time at Chester.
Yeah.
And then did he have a good win at Haydock somewhere recently? Brad the Brief, was it? Was that a good win? I love that horse, actually, that horse. Hierarchy.
Correct, you're right.
Yeah, God, that was actual genuine
Somehow
knowledge,
you,
Dave.
somehow you knocked that one out, didn't you?
Actually came from my brain, which is very unusual. Type Flow's been making hay on the all-weather. Really interesting to see Type Flow on the turf. One I want to mention, a bit of a cheeky one, is just this ribeye. Each way. Only. Yeah,
Marcus Dragoning.
Yeah, excellent. I'm happy
Most
with
of
those
his winners
prices.
at Newbury.
Obviously now I've turned 36. I'm squinting to look at the screen
I do it
at
all
the
the time.
prices because I can't see. But ribeye for Marcus Dragoning, yeah, he's my each way pick. Look, a bigger field such as this, he needs the cover. I think that's what he'll get. He's a speedy horse, got a good turn of foot. So why not an each way, but Hierarchy to win?
Interesting. This has been quite a good race this for market leaders. It tends to be a Commonwealth Cup trial, of course. Creative, yeah, absolutely. Creative Force, of course, won this last year before following up in the Big E. Is it on the Friday or the Saturday now? It's Friday, isn't it? The Commonwealth Cup.
Yeah, I want to say yes.
They mess around with the
yeah,
races,
I was going
don't
to
they?
say from COVID they moved around a whole host of races.
But none of you have mentioned the winner, and number 9 is going down as we speak at the moment, and he looks lovely to me. He's the son of Caravaggio that won the Commonwealth Cup. And speaking to William Haggis yesterday, just got a twinkle in William's eye about this chap when I was lucky enough to get the word on Baid and all his raiders today. And he's never run on turf. Keels was on that panel with me when we were talking to William Haggis. He said, I don't know whether he's a Jersey horse. And actually, funnily enough, the quote that William would have then given later to one of our editorial department, he basically says, maybe it's interesting how the trainers do that. They sort of speak to us first thing in the morning. Keels gives his opinion. And I read some of the quotes later on. It's almost like he's swaying them a little bit because he's convinced this is a Jersey horse, not a Commonwealth Cup horse. Yeah. I can see quite a bit of pace in this, though, guys. I don't know if you're looking at, your form or your pace maps, whatever you've got out there. It all looks pretty even to me. I think it might set up for him quite nicely. And William Haggis has had one previous winner in this race, and it was a winner. I think it was a day, wasn't it? A couple of years ago. So look, it's a lovely race, this. It's a sprint race, sun shining. And it's quite unique in that usually we've had a race or two at the courses. By the time we come on in, we're taking the first from Newmarket and the first from Newbury. So we'll be getting you the times as we go. There was a lot of water, I think, put on at Newbury.
Yeah, earlier on in the week. I think they put on, well, they were watering earlier on, then they had 8 mils on Wednesday. So they stopped watering on the Monday, thank goodness, because then with the heat that's then come in again today, that we have just got proper good ground, it looks like, anyway, and from the going stick readings, that's what it's reading as.
They've had to put it on to make sure Baid turns up, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's hot today as well, isn't it?
Yes,
so warm down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what the crowds are like. Lots said about crowds this week as well. I was at York in the week, lucky enough to go there. I don't know. There's been a lot of.
Nice time.
I had a fair time. We might talk about that. Yeah, with Ross Briley and Graham Rodway. Believe it or not.
Oh, what a combination that is.
Yeah, that was good. I can see Trevor Meeks in the chat was saying it was terrible at York, but did we see the Oaks and the Derby winner? Let's hear about that as well. Get a word from Barry about that shortly. Let's go to the social corner then. Who's going to open it up on this Group 1 Lockinge Day. Let's have a look. And it's Darren Walker comes in and says, got Tiber Flow 4-1, Darren, when the prices came out early in the week. Expect him to win. Nice. I'm with you. Hopefully I've given you a little vote of confidence then. We'll come see what he is in the market with Barry in a sec. Oh, Trevor Meeks. This is interesting. Trevor. Look, right, so coming back. Surely alcohol-free is the each-way bet against the hot pot. I agree.
I agree.
There are doubles and trebles all over the place today. There's the Jim Crowley treble.
Yep.
Shadwell treble, which is Eraz, of course, Isra and Baid. And there's also a boozy double. There's Red Vineyard, who Barry likes, and alcohol-free, isn't there?
Yes. Oh,
Both which sum up my last week quite well.
Oh my goodness,
That
that's Bay though in the race though as well, though, isn't there? So you could sort of
in the same
manipulate
race,
it how you wanted to, in the same race. So.
But you know, on these Saturdays, punters look at these things, and certainly the Crowley treble. I think if Eraz goes and takes this out, we'll be getting a word from Barry on that. Barry, they're going in. What price are you going to go off? Just over 2s?
Just over 2-1 Tiber Flow. Yeah, high Raki 5.5, 6-8 Eraz, some money for that. 10 Catamosto, real negative there for Aidan O'Brien's runners. Sam Maximus 13.5, and it's 24 bar.
All right, thank you, Barry. OK, we're off and running. Good luck in the first then. The sun shining at Newbury. Slightly out from the gates was Sam Maximus. James Horton, of course, first run for him. Hierarchy keeping over on the far side, doing a decent pace. Up there as well, the organiser for Highclere. Ribeye, who Nat thinks might go well. He's got a nice rhythm at the moment. Tiberflow just tracking him. Looking for Eraz out the back under Crowley at the moment with Cadamosto. Ryan not going for anything yet whatsoever. And Holly Doyle and Riggs as well. Nat Green, is this going to just lead all the way, this hierarchy?
Well, that's what I was just wondering. I love the way this horse goes, to be fair. Like I said, has been a little bit keen in the past, but actually looks quite nicely settled here. Ribeye, you have to do enough, Dave, to be honest.
He's gone. The Fav's coming, I think, Kate, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. The Fav's now coming through. But yesterday it was only one horse that made it all, though, to win. So will he be suspect?
Holly Doyle's trying. Cadamosto trying.
Come on, Hierarchy.
And this is a big one from Sam Maximus on the far side as well. Now
Eraz
is coming. Can't tell you what. Jim Crowley is either
Come on,
Hierarchy. Come on in, Tyler. Here we go then.
Hierarchy's
Hierarchy's there at the moment. Looks like Haggis might take this out. The favourite. Is he going to do it? Look at Jim Crowley. Absolutely flying home. Oh, he's going to be gone on the line, I think. Jim Crowley has ridden the ball. Mother of pearl. We're going to get matched. That's for sure. Did we get Wow, the first race at Newbury. Barry, take that apart.
Oh, my word.
In the photo finish, anyway, it's 6s on Tiber Flow in the photo finish. It's 33-1 on, 50-1 on Tiber Flow in the photo finish. I think we just got matched, did we? Yeah, we got matched at even money. Ooh, that was squeaky bum time.
In the very first of 7 races for you then. This is why you come on to Racing Post Live on a Saturday. Whether you're at the track, you're at the home, wherever you are. I think he's just got it, girls, hasn't he?
Oh, I think so.
I think it's official now,
Kate, we've been whooped by Barry and Dave in this.
Yeah.
We've been absolutely whooped.
What a bit of learning this is, though, from the exchange here. Like, exactly the bet that Barry then had. Getting that on them beforehand, seeing it in play, seeing what we were
That wasn't the way I had envisioned money, though, Kate.
Not the way you were expecting it to go.
I thought I might be up with them and just, might travel so well, and then when push came to shove, he'd find nothing. But I think that's the way they need to ride the horse. Very patient on him and just come up one run. But thankfully, Tom Marquand and Tiber Flow had other thoughts. But it's the shortest of short heads, I'd say, or nose. Sorry.
I've got this vision of Barry when the 48-hour decks come on going, no, that's going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and even money in the money late trade there. Now, let's talk about this ride, guys, because Hierarchy has probably just done a bit too much too soon, isn't he? You can see why they're talking about 7 furlongs to Tiber Flow, because he doesn't have that electric turn of foot, unlike Eraz, who has been literally ridden for one run, as Barry said, and it is either genius or Jamie Spencer, isn't it, now for Jim Crowley, right?
Yeah, I actually think you're being very kind about Hierarchy, because I don't think he actually did too much, really.
You're livid with him.
Just wasn't good enough. Yeah, I don't think he...
Because we should get it out there. You do get a tad competitive with these things, don't you? So it's sort of
I just try to be honest.
Orton,
I don't think he pulled too hard. I think he just wasn't good enough there. The turn of foot was electric, to be fair, there from Eraz. That was awesome, wasn't it? God, wasn't Ribeye disappointing, though? Just went out like a light, really.
Well, again, you look, you've got 2 Shadwell horses, right? One to make sure that they're not going too slow.
Yeah.
And they've one plan for Eraz, right? And imagine what he must be like at home, Barry, this horse, to have that sort of ride given to him. They saw what he did at Ascot. That's why you wanted to be with him. He came and then he flattened out, didn't it? This time they've had the big plan. They so nearly pulled it off.
Yeah, they really have. He gave him a very patient ride. They anchored him last out of the stalls. He tracked all the way. He got a nice toe into the race from Ryan Moore on Cadamazzo, and then he bagged that rail, which doesn't seem a negative at all, that rail. They seem to have put a lot of water on, but yeah, he's come there with his run. Thankfully, though, the winners just lasted home. I think he's won a short head at the finish, but yeah, you could mark him up for that run as well, Raz. But you know, till I see him again, I'll be against him every time.
I wonder as well, Barry, just stick with you on that, whether Tyber's just felt the ground. It's his first time on turf, isn't it? And he's just rolled around a little bit.
Just in the closing
stages.
He's
done really well to hang on there.
Has rolled around just a little bit, but then don't you love Tyber Flow? Like, gutsy though, wanted it. You can see he's sort of rallying back, attacking. So, well, Dave, off the mark.
Nap time that was actually as well, if you're watching any feature shows.
Well done, Dave. I agree with you there.
20 from 33 for the Commonwealth Cup.
Barry, that was going to be my next line. And what do you make of that prize? I don't know, could you go a bit shorter?
Looks about right. I don't think it was that warm a race, really, when the likes of Cadamazzo drifts nearly doubled in price from 4-1, 8-1. The second, the ride that he got, I'd say that's a poor enough trial. There'd be better trials than that for the Commonwealth Cup this weekend.
When you look at the likes of Perfect Power, Go Bears Go, of course, who beat the pair of them previously. You look about what you've got in the Commonwealth Cup without this race even factoring in. It is.
I've not seen Castle Star yet, have we? Of course, Tenebrism probably going to drop back in trip.
Yeah.
Tricky race in the Commonwealth Cup. One of the highlights of the summer calendar, I think we could agree.
Oh, yeah.
Great inception, isn't it? Brilliant.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, exactly. It's the race that people cite at the start of a season, isn't it? Saying, oh, that could be a Commonwealth Cup contender. There's so many, because you've got the variables of your 5 furlong horses, your 7 furlong horses, your 2-year-olds, whether or not they're going to train on. Then you've just got so many factors that then pull together for the Commonwealth Cup, and I think it's the best race at Royal Ascot. I love it.
No.
The best race at Royal Ascot.
Well, I love the 2-year-old races. I absolutely love. You know, I think already.
Did we see the Cheshire winner
Mary
yesterday at Leopardstown? Did anyone see the Alfred Munnings? Was it called or?
At Leopardstown yesterday.
Yeah, the first race at Leopardstown yesterday. Did you see that, Barry?
Yeah, he looked a beast.
Whoa, a beast. Yes, he did. If that's not their... I mean, usually their Cheshire horse, Barry, runs 8th in a maiden. Eye-catching or something, doesn't it? Or 5th like Churchill or Clemmy or something like that. But this showed its hand nice and early.
Yeah, we didn't do anything with it because we haven't got the Cheshire up yet, but he'll be favoured for it. I've no doubt about that.
It's become a seriously attractive race, the Cheshire, all of a sudden, isn't it? Because of, the horses that have gone and won it. OK, lots of Royal Ascot chat already on the show. Well done if you out there. In Haggis we trust, and just about got it off there. And well done if you followed Barry in as well with the trade. We had the education about it, and we couldn't have advertised it any better. Look out for a social love from that coming, I would imagine. OK, I'm hearing that it's £5 for a 99 with a flake today at Newbury. That's coming into me. That's a bit random, isn't it?
£5?
It's what?
A £5 for an ice cream with a flake in it.
I thought it was meant to be £1.
You know how you go to the van and get Mr. Whippy and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought that
was 99. Disgrace.
That is
just driving punters away from the racecourses. They are just greed, just driving people away.
You can't charge £5.
Racecourses don't seem to realise there's a cost of living crisis at the moment.
I was just about to say that. They didn't realise that, you know, inflation's gone through the roof and you want to go and have a nice day out. I mean, imagine a family of 4. Yeah, for just a blob of ice cream. You know, people will accuse us sometimes at the Racing Post of going out and looking for these stories. At the moment, they're just, you know, our course reporters are going there generally to write about Baaeed, and they find themselves, you know, Tom Kerr or whoever will say, right, what are we seeing here? You know, we're getting all this feedback in, and the reporter's like, oh, I've got to write about this again. You know, it's just like, it's just ridiculous. We are shooting ourselves in the foot. Paul Keeley's columns about Punchestown. Yeah, well, the racecourses are trying to make money back, right? You're not going to, you've got to... What happened with COVID is happened to everyone. You can't then try and claw back from you know, because it's just counterproductive. More
the ice cream members still out there selling, weren't they? I don't know. It's just you're right. It seems a bit loony. I went to York this week. I was lucky enough to go up to the Ebor restaurant there, and it was done fantastically well. It was pricey enough, that right, but
York are pretty good.
York do seem like one of the. I bumped into William Darby. What a pleasure he is!
Oh,
you know,
he seems like the nicest
top bloke,
nicest
and
guy,
it was a really really good day out. Talking of York, let's go back to a more positive spin. Did we see the Oaks and the Derby winner?
At this stage,
pretty amazing, wasn't it?
From both of them. From both of them.
Emily Upjohn.
Emily Upjohn. I'm not sure the name.
The names are difficult. You've been looking.
Did you see me? Dave watched me going, Emily Upjohn.
Well,
I thought that was Wowee.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Absolutely amazing.
All right, we've got to get on to the next race, but we will talk about those trials. I've got Kieran in my ear telling me about that. OK, because it's Ottoman Fleet time for a lot of you out there, isn't it? Including, I believe, Barry Orr.
Yeah, but the horse I initially fancied in this race is a non-runner, Dave. Post-Impressionist. I was going to back him against the favourite, but it's very hard to go against Ottoman Fleet now for Charlie Appleby. Obviously finished second to his stablemate, Natural World in Newbury in April. He challenged out wide that day while the winner had the inside and on the rail in Newbury, and that seemed to make all the difference to him. I think with a little bit of improvement as well. It's interesting that they're putting him straight into this listed race, that they're not just going for another maiden and then into a novice. They're happy to go straight into a listed race with him. It says a lot. And for me, he's just a straight up win, please. He's on the slide a bit, though, it has to be said. He's 2.9. He was odds on at one stage. He was 180, 4-5. So he has drifted out significantly. Zayn Sarinda is the big mover in the race. Is into favourite now, 2.3, having been a 7-2 chance. But I'm going to stick with Ottoman Fleet. I'm going to have a 50 quid win. Happy to be a price taker here as well, please, at 2.92.
Yeah, he's definitely on the slide, Barry. And one of the reasons why I opposed him in the tips was because I didn't really want to be taking him at around about the 6-5 he was on. They are coming for Zayn Sarinda now. In fact, is that going to go off Fav, Barry?
Yeah, he's going to go off Fav. Zayn will go off Fav at 2.36 at the moment. It's 2.82 now, Ottoman Fleet, and it's 10 bar. Groundbreaker is 10. So, yeah, he's still a maiden, obviously, Fleet, but I think this is a fairly decent horse that they're going straight into the listed company with him.
Yeah, for sure he is. This can often throw up a derby. John Leaper, you'll remember, last year took this, but he's gelded, of course, but he cost the earth.
He is a gelding, yeah.
He's cost the earth, and he's got a decent pedigree, and you're right, it's very interesting going. And it's one of these races now, Kate, if I was looking at the market now, I might swip. It's a bit of a flip. And I should say that the panel are split on this. Barry and Nat both like the Ottoman.
Yeah, I do. Charlie Appleby and Godolphin, they've had a fantastic start to the season, haven't they? Yeah. I'm all about Ottoman.
He's won 3 of the last 4 of these, by the way, Charlie Appleby, unsurprisingly. Kate, Zayn Sarinda, through United Nations, the Lingfield winner, I believe that's his name, isn't it? United Nations.
Yeah.
That means that Zayn Sarinda probably should have been a little bit shorter, because there's a collateral line of form that I spotted that means that Zayn Sarinda holds Ottoman, but Ottoman can just improve bundles. We don't know, but I thought this should have been Fav.
Yeah, no, I thought that Ottoman Fleet was going to go off Fav here, though, myself, to be honest. So, sort of when I was first looking at the market, then I wanted to take him on there with Zayn Sarinda, who has the best form in this race, with Savvy Victory, actually, who, for me, is certainly overpriced further down.
Interesting horse.
But Zayn Sarinda has the experience. He just did the typical thing of a Churchill, where he didn't win on his debut, won his second start, as Isaiah then did himself. And he has that top level experience to his name as well. Tom Clover can just do no wrong this season either.
Yeah, I like Tom Clover,
had
progressive chap.
Yeah, and he just kept on so well then, I thought, over the 10 furlongs last time out at Epsom. That was behind Nahani, that was in the Derby trial, which is a trial that sort of hasn't been spoken about very much, really. I actually quite like that race. And as you say, he beat the United Nations in behind him, who went on to win the Derby trial at Lingfield. So I thought that was the strongest sole piece of form then in this race. And as I say, the way that he kept on, I just expect further improvement then from him in here.
I think it probably is the strongest form, but what I didn't like about Zayn Sarinda in that Epsom is I just thought hanging like all the way down the hill.
You can do that.
Yeah.
I suppose you've got the dip here to
yeah,
worry
of course.
about, hasn't he?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's
Dip with a capital D, by the way. So you have to write it.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
Oh yes.
The
of course.
dip.
So that was my negative angle in this. The way he hung at Epsom I didn't like, and then at Newmarket with the dip.
It's not for everyone, the dip.
But ultimately, I just thought that this is, as a trainer, the best opportunity for Ottoman Fleet to get his head in front. I thought this was a nice race to be in. So, and only beaten by a neck, wasn't it, by Natural World, as I said, at Lingfield. So yeah, I just think there's plenty to like. I think he's. Yeah.
You could counter the form thing, of course, couldn't you? Because Godolphin would have looked at the 48-hour decks just when they were about to press the button at 10 a.m. on Thursday and gone, well, actually, we know how good Nahani is, so we think we'll beat this Zayn chap. So
yeah, they've got a form line on it. They've got a handle on all form
lines. Yeah, of course,
yes,
exactly, Kate. They probably know more about form than
exactly.
even me. Would you believe it? Groundbreaker we haven't mentioned in this. Interesting horse, wears a hood, maybe might do a bit of the running for David Egan and Andrew Balding. Austrian Theory as well might put a pace to it. Will we be going this Golden Highway? Stalls on the stand side at Newmarket could play. Wherever you are playing in the 150, a very good luck to you. Well, let's hope one of us is right at least, because we could still go through the card, guys.
I wouldn't ignore Groundbreaker, like you said, either. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Just mention all of them, Dave. One of them should win.
1 mile 2. This is not going to be so. Oh, hang on a minute. What's gone on here? Ottoman just had a little think about that coming out. A little dip, didn't he, I think?
Oh, well, we've got enough time to recover.
Now, you watch this, guys. This is a mile 2 race, and all they want to do, these jockeys, is go to the stand side rail. We've got a 7 furlong race coming up at 7 o'clock. And
that forebodes well for Haymaker later on.
Haymaker as well in the sprint, absolutely.
David Egan's having
when you see these jockeys, half the battle for them is the first furlong, because it's become such a draw track. Lots of people, including William Aggis, when I spoke to him yesterday, thought Caribus was, luckier than Native Trail on them. So we're going to find out all about that. But at the moment, it is Zane Surinder against the rail. Slightly surprised he's leading, Kate.
Yes, exactly. I wasn't exactly sure who was going to go forwards in this, but I'm happy that Zane Surinder has done those. Bagged that Golden Highway from stall 3, in a lovely rhythm there on the front end. The sweaty, free-going Austrian Theory then in second. Expected him to probably put the pace of this race. He's happy just to take a lead. David Egan still hasn't just been able to settle Groundbreaker just yet. He's now pulling in wider. I think he's sort of given up with trying to hold him behind.
This could be interesting because it's going to be pace pressure potentially.
You can't just keep fighting like that. David Egan is class. He's going to have to take him wide and let him go a little bit, because otherwise he's just going to have nothing left at the end. He was really keen coming out the stalls, obviously got the hood on.
Yeah, I think he'll come last, this horse.
Zane Surinder looks
Adam and Fleet's going to meet traffic problems, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, Barry. They go for the rail, and if you're not leading, you've got to hope going into the dip. Your horse is balanced enough, but also going to get the luck. OK, so here we go. 3 furlongs out. What is the market saying at the moment? Zane Surinder still loving the way he has had it fairly easy, isn't he?
Yeah, 5-4 on 6-4. Adam and Fleet 5-4 on
don't
6.
give
What
up
about
on
Savvy
Fleet.
Victory?
Don't give up on
Adam gets the
Fleet.
gap, he wins.
Here we go. Right, we're
Boys,
going for it
don't give up
now.
on Fleet.
Savvy, I'll tell you what, Savvy Victory is
Come on,
very
Zane.
interesting here.
Come on,
Robert Hadlin is
Surinder.
very, but he's got ground to make
Come
up
on,
against Zane Surinder.
Surinder.
It's the
Come
big 2 in
on.
the market. Coming clear.
Come on,
Here we go.
Zane
Zane Surinder,
Come on,
Natalie
Zane
Green,
Surinder.
sends
Keep
the
rallying.
win.
Come
Oh, this is
on.
going to be
Zane
ding dong all
Surinder.
the way.
Come on,
Savvy
Zane,
Victory's
come
on a line, but
on,
only
Zane
third.
Surinder.
I'm taking a word in edgeways because Ottoman Fleet is going to stick his head in front.
Yes.
Oh, 1-1 on the panel because Barry and Natalie, they knew. We've been beaten half a length, Kate Tracey. Barry, you called it going into the dip, man.
Just when he got that gap, it took him a while to get his act together, but it's only his second run, so you'd have to mark him up for that. And he didn't have the rail. If he had the rail, he'd win at 2 lengths maybe. But your runner-up, Zane Surinder, traded at a low of 1.40, which is 2-5 for 104 quid. Returned favourite as well, Zane Surinder at 2.42. Ottoman Fleet finished up a Betfair SP of 3.11, so over 2-1 Ottoman Fleet, Betfair SP.
Hello there. That's what you wanted to be hearing, wasn't it, when you were looking at an odds-on shot this morning? Feeling better?
Yeah, no, because I was trying to say don't give up on him, because Barry was right. Once he got that gap, the horse wanted it and he went, and that was awesome for me to watch, because that was such a nice performance. Exactly what I wanted to happen. When he said go, he actually goes. To be fair, Zane did go. It was in a lovely rhythm, wasn't he, from the front there? But I think this is like truly run, and he stayed on and won deservedly.
I'd be pretty positive about this form, Kate, I think, and I like the run of the third. He's basically done everything you don't want to do in this race.
Yes.
He's had a wall of horses in front. This is Savvy Victory we're talking about. Watch it back, see if you agree with me. He's hit the line with something left in the tank, I think, and you cannot be travelling away from that rail when the 2 market leaders kicked. There's a big race in him. I just wonder whether it might be something at Royal Ascot there, maybe one of the slightly lesser races, if there is such a thing there, of course, at Royal Ascot. Look out for Sean Woods' horses there. Sean Woods has got some nice stock this year, and great to see that, basically. Interesting.
What if they touch his handicap mark then on the back of that? He's rated 91 at present. He's definitely got a handicap in him off of that, I'd say. If he
and I think you might be right, because if you're looking at Zane Surinder as 97, the handicapper can't go mad, because Ottoman Fleet, what did he get on his debut? We're doing a little bit of, let's do a bit of maths here. So he got 84 on his debut, right? So you can't go above 97, really.
No.
Because Zainzarine has had the run of the... He's run right to his race, isn't he?
Yeah, and you imagine with a big field handicap type, that's just going to suit him down to the ground, isn't it? The way that he's going to be able to tow himself into the race. He travels so well through a race then, and the way he then hits the line. If you've got a 10 furlong handicap then within this lad, I definitely think, like I say, if he might just get put up a few there because it's not going to escape the handicapper's attention how he hit the line then. But there's still, even from a few pound higher mark there's definitely a big handicap in him over.
I wouldn't want to see him on like rattling ground. They just watch the replay. Something watch
that's
his
the thing,
back
isn't it?
action
Yeah.
behind.
Well.
No, Savvy Victory.
okay.
Just have a look, because I didn't love it when the race was finished and they went off past the finish line. The way his action and his back action behind.
He's a new Bay, isn't he? Do you remember this day last year when Bay Bridge took out the London Gold Cup?
Bridge, yeah.
And that New Bay's are thought to want some dig, so...
I would personally, my analysis of the race would be I wouldn't want him on rattling ground, but that's just...
Well, it's odds
only
on,
an
isn't it?
opinion.
It's going to rain all throughout Royal Ascot Week. It's absolutely odds on.
always
I
does,
remember speaking to Barry on the Friday of Royal last year, Barry. Do you remember? And we said, is this going to be on? Is this going to be on?
Yeah.
Oh,
and Barry
Barry on?
Oh, sorry.
I love it
Sorry,
when
I
that
was just
happens.
reading an email there.
Poor Barry, just get sick of us.
I said it's odds on to rain at Royal Ascot, and I remember speaking to you on the Friday about whether it was even going to be on. Do you remember? Because they've got to water it, haven't they? And all of a sudden it dashes down. I think we're due for a wet Ascot, the way the spring's been.
Oh, flipping hell, Dave. Leave it out, will you? We're due a bit of decent weather, sure.
I know, for goodness sake.
Should we break something as
What
well?
a doom and gloom merchant, Matt.
I
Give
know.
me a kick in the shins, will you,
Oh, well,
please?
Dave, what do you
Hey,
think?
Barry, before we went on live, Kate and I were talking about, wouldn't it be great to go move to France? We're so sick of the weather. God, we deserve a good summer.
Listen,
Come
I
on.
bet you enjoyed that out there, didn't you? Well, he's going to be able to kick me in the shins himself soon, because Barry's coming over for...
Coming over for, I'm going to be at the Oaks on the Friday, and I'll be in studio on the Saturday for the Derby.
Mega.
Oh.
Mega.
Got a great panel lined
I'm
up.
looking forward to
And we're
that.
going to be seeing you a bit of Royal Week as well, aren't we?
Yeah, a couple of days during the Royal Festival as well. Yeah, looking forward to that. Best of both worlds. I get to go to the races, and I get to see you in person, Dave.
There
Who could
we-
ask for more?
There we
I'm
go.
living the dream, Dave. Living the dream.
Oh my God.
That's what. Do you know what? That's what I think you are. Quite right. Shall we live the dream and move on? Because I think it's probably coming up to our 210, isn't it? Which is the Aston Park Stakes, and it is a very classy race. It's not often, Barry, you get a Group 3 with 6 runners, and we're talking about over 3-1 the field.
Yeah, and Fox's Tales has been the story of the race, really, Dave. When we first went up with this race on the Sportsbook 48-hour deck stage, it was a 9-2 chance. It's into 7-2 strong in the exchange, 3-1 on the Sportsbook now. A shad of 4.7, 4.9 scope, another big drifter, had doubled in price out to 5 and 6-1 at one stage. Scope. Without a Fight 7, same for Illarab, and Outbox is 11. Outbox was put up by Tony Cavan on the Racing Only Better podcast. You can check that out on the Betfair Challenge. But this is a shad is only her 6th run. She was second to Loving Dream in the Ribble Stage. She disappointed, we all know, in the Yorkshire Oaks, but she put that well and truly to bed on Champions Day in the Fillies and Mares. She was very, very tough there when she beat Alflora, who's a really decent yardstick, and Snowfall was only 3rd. She's a filly. I backed her in the Ribblesdale, Dave. I thought she should have won the Ribblesdale. She just didn't get the run of the race. Things didn't work out for her. She's only beaten, a half a length or a length in the Ribblesdale. So she's a filly I want to be with this year. And I think 4.6 is an eminently backable price. We're winning what we're winning. We're winning about 150 quid. We're going to have 50 quid in her, please. Nat, we're happy to be a price taker again at 4.6. I can't see her getting much bigger than that. So 4.6, 50 quid win, a shada.
Interesting. Very interesting, because it's that sort of race. You can have a strong opinion on it, and you're getting a price, aren't you? And this is tricky. Let me give you some, before we go down the panel. So Ashada, yes, Group 1 runner in the pack, along with Scope. Both penalised. Having a run in this is usually a prerequisite for winning it. I think the last 3 winners have all come here with a 1 next to the name. Al-Azi, you might remember, for William Haggis. Last year. I put Illarab up thinking the ground he was too quick, they think, for him when they came back in the John Porter, and you could watch that back, you've got a bit of time. He comes there to win his race, Illarab, and he just rattles out a little bit. And I said to William, did he just need it? And he said, no, we think the ground was a bit too strong, a bit too hard for him, potentially. And he's a horse that I don't think they've seen the best of him yet.
They've been saying that for such a long time.
He won 6 straight handicaps, didn't he?
Every interview I've ever done, the yard, Illarab is frustrating. Maureen loves him.
Yeah.
William loves him. Maureen sums it up. I just think she's so eloquent when she describes a horse, because she's got such passion and talks about the horse in a different way, not always just in a racing way. She said to me, he's like lazy, Nat. He races lazily, and when he kind of, not as if he's like slow in the head mentally, but like when he actually picks up, God, he does. So I think they find him frustrating. And yes, look, I think he will come on from that run. Some people that I've read in judges and forums and whatever said, so disappointed, it was so disappointing. But come on, it was what it was, and he'll come on from it. So yeah, of course Ilarab's got a chance to say it, and they're sticking with him and they're keeping the faith.
But you're with Barry, aren't you?
I love Ashada. I absolutely love Ashada. Look, I read the quote, she does love a bit of cut in the ground, but what I like about this horse is just look at her weight. We can describe, I know our viewers can't see, but we can describe when we see her in pictures. She's big, she's scopy, she's rangy. Now at Newbury, as I said earlier, galloping, big track.
So good to watch at Newbury, isn't it? Yeah, I agree.
Rangy, big stride, big gallop. She's got all the scope. I just think...
I was a tad surprised they brought her back in training, because it's not really a Shadwell thing to do this.
No.
The late Hamden Amot Tomb didn't really like his fillies, top fillies to race as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, we're seeing this a bit more, though, aren't we?
No, yeah, I
this
suppose so.
This is kind of...
I think probably going forward that the
This is
top
the
two
new
are the
ver-
ones you want to be with, right? Scope is... I was asked a couple of weeks ago on this show, we said during the Guineas weekend, let's put up a horse to follow, and Scope was mine. This was definitely a prep for the Gold Cup or something like that with him, maybe even Arbrook. I really, really like him. He won his Group 1 in France, but I think going forward, he's the one. But not today for me. So tricky for me.
I get you on that.
See, I found that really tricky with Scope. I'm still giving him the chance today, even though everything is telling me not to. You know, with the Group 1 penalty, the fact that this trip is way short of his best. He improved for the step up in trip last year. Rafe Beckett's form isn't there. Everything is telling me not to side with him.
So you think he can overcome that?
I still
adversity?
do. Just because of the improvement that he showed last season at the rate of knots was just amazing. And his win in the Group 1 pre-Royal Oak there, I know it was over a mile, 7.5 furlongs, but to have Scarzino then in behind him, and also obviously with the strong Yorkshire Cup fancy Search for a Song then in behind him as well. I mean, she was ever so slightly underwhelming yesterday, but I still think she gave her running anyway. But who's that we've got suddenly?
We're watching Ilarab going...
Ilarab going sideways down, was it?
Was that
no,
Newbury? Was it?
Navan, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. All right. Okay, we're not sure. We think we might have seen Ilarab being walked down. We'll keep an eye on that. We're not sure. It was someone in yellow.
I just wanted to check. Anyway, we'll see.
I know. They're looking at the
Does
time.
the ground not worry you at all, though, with Scope? A little bit?
Yeah. It worries me for an awful lot of these. And then looking at the time from our bet, the times were quick at Newbury yesterday.
And the first race,
and our first race.
Well linked, Kate. I was just looking at that. It's
slow by 0.39.
The ground just good, according to PJ McDonald, but it was just off standard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, top of the ground good. There's Kate's tip then, Scope, keeping with my horse to follow, unlike Dave Orton. This would be egg on face, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But again, love to see him win, but financially not for me today. Let's get some social interaction up on the screen. I think one of our regulars has put something in that we might like to have a look at. There he is, Hugh Masson. Great to have you back, Hugh. Really like Ashada, but worried that this is a prep for Ascot. Surprise Scope has been backed on this ground. So look, just...
It's funny, this is what we were just talking about.
Pretty much what we're talking about. Look, the producers occasionally know what they're doing on this show. Believe it or not.
Give them credit where credit's due.
And you're right. This is the problem with this race, isn't it? Again, this is the Aston Park Stakes. It's a Group 3. I'll see how much it's worth to the winner. Remind myself, 56 grand.
Yeah.
And yet you've got horses that won't be fussed at all with finishing second or third because they could genuinely be taking out Group 1s later down the line.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you can just keep going through it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, at all. The more you look at Fox's Tales, you can sort of see why is it favourite? I really am going slightly blind. But you can see, can't you? 1-4, well worth a go. Big chance on form. So it's kind of like those top three. You can just and ah and go through them. But Scope, I'd be put off by the ground. Ashada, I'm with Barry. I think she is the one to follow this season. I do.
So there you go. So you're basically doing exactly what I'm not. And you're making me think, have I made the right decision now? But I'm going for what I think the one might be prime for today. And the market suggests I can take a chance on Ilarab. I would like it slightly softer, no doubt in that. But I think he'll get away with it. And yet you guys are all thinking, let's just go with the class,
Yeah, that's it. Trying to, but like you say, with this race, considering it is just for Group 3, we know that these are Group 1 performers that are going to have much bigger targets down the line. So it's that weighing up over who's going to be ready for today, and like you say, market is tending to indicate that for us, rather than who's using it as a prep. And then so many of these that are not going to be suited by the quicker ground. So, but then, as James Ferguson said earlier on in the week at York, didn't he? If you're avoiding good ground, you're avoiding racing altogether. So.
Well, there we are, quite right.
Exactly.
And I think Scope will be fine on the ground, Hugh, just letting you know. And again, to reiterate, a couple of weeks ago I said Scope, when he turns up, follow him throughout the season. So if some of you are backing and think, hang on a minute, Dave, you've not backed this. Look, he came to prominence really when he beat a horse called Chalk Stream as he liked at Ascot last October. That's now gone down under for Her Majesty, for Chris Wallow, and will be winning big race down there. But then he went to Longchamp, of course, didn't he? Again. In the Group 1, the pre-Royal Oak, again on soft ground. He beat a really good field that day. This is all about the Ascot Gold Cup. Do I think you need to go there with a 1 next to your name? It would be lovely, wouldn't it? But I think this is his one entry at Royal Ascot. Has he got the turn of foot for this? We'll see. Could it be a pace angle? That would be interesting. Barry mentioned that Tony Calvin has gone for Outbox, which looks like he might get a freebie up front.
Yeah, because you can just see how this can break down, because Scope and Shard absolutely have to be ready. I mean, look, they're from yards that know how to ready a horse, but you can get them ready, but then there's still race fitness, isn't there?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's still match fitness, I should really call it. And so then, of course, you can look at Foxtails, you can look at Illarab. So
Foxtails, as Barry said, one of them for money, because it's probably had the run. It's got the horse that beat it. Go on, Barry.
What do we think of Foxtail stepping up to 1.5 miles?
I think he'll get it on the judge of his mile 3 effort then.
Oh, right. So positive about that. And of course, he is a Newbury winner. Let me have a look at
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, in his Group 3, it came at this track.
He's Zoffany, isn't he? Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm with you, I think, Barry, on that one. But he's very lightly raced, Foxtail, actually.
He's favoured. He's been well punted. He's into 3.9 now. Shad is friendless in the market, doubled in price from what we backed her at. She's 5.5.
Yeah.
4.7. Scope has come in for good support, considering he drifted out to 11-2 at one stage. 7.4 without a fight. 6.6 Illarab. Money for that in Outbox 12. Outbox the only double figure price horse in the race out of the 6 runners.
I bet you that goes short up. Not long after they've jumped off, Barry, because I think Hollywood Doll had one thing in her mind here. Mostadaf is, of course, the horse that beat Fox's Tails, and John Gosden very keen to run that in the Prince of Wales. That is a horse that we've yet to see the best of, I think. And
he looks a proper horse. Yeah,
it's nice now because just in our little box on the right hand side, we can see them circling down before they're going to start to enter the stalls, and this bit's always, they're all looking very calm, aren't they? It's nice to see it all looking very relaxed, but I know you can't see, the viewers can't see it, we can see, but this is a chance when you do look at number 2, Ashada, just how massive she is.
Is she a whopper?
She's tall, she's rangy, she's quite svelte looking. Like, look at her, Dave, in the middle of Big Bay. I mean, she's
nice and calm.
Big girl.
They're all lovely, aren't they?
Got the
Not
red hood
sweat
on
any of them.
the start. No sweat on them. They all look. Outbox looks very calm there. They're all just sort of standing around having a jolly nice time in the sunshine, which we might be doing after work.
that might be.
Are we?
We might have a go, I don't know.
It's interesting with Fox's Tails because you look at his entries, he is entered in the Coronation Cup and in the Hardwick then itself. So clearly Andrew Boulding is fancying him over a mile 4. Yeah, for the pair of those two, whether or not this will then dictate.
If you win this, if you win this, it's Hardwick, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So which is kind of a Fox's Tail road. The Bouldings love the Hardwick.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you about that.
Well,
quick quote from Haggis about the first. He's a bloody tough horse, says William.
Great.
About Tiber Flow. He said to me yesterday he's only running on the all-weather because of circumstances. Lots of injury problems when he was young. And they think the character is shown to get through them as why we're seeing such resolution. I think they love him.
Yeah.
We knew he would get a little bit flat-footed. They injected the wrong pace at last time. This was at Newcastle on your day, as everyone's calling it, all-weather Champions Day.
All-weather Champions Day.
And he'll be a 12-16 to 1 shot for Ascot. Actually, he's nearly double that, William. But Tom felt he had the speed for it today. So ground will dictate, I think. They're not sure about him on soft ground. We thought he might roll about a bit, didn't he? But I think he'll go on it. He's just a nice horse. And when William says that, it means he's got one. Hannon, about the second. I mean, I must give him mention. Errors, of course. We wanted to see him finish, and he did. Definitely Commonwealth Cup for him. Very happy. They're going to just probably try and...
You would be happy
With
with
that turn of foot there, he shows,
And
like
the
you say,
hill,
going with one
they
run.
might come
with
back
the
a little
hill.
bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to hold up horses at Ascot, perfect.
Exactly, and then go.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll be a bit positive about it. Right, 2:10 it is though. The Aston Park Stakes. Looking at that, Scope and Fox's Tail. Then Barry, there is it going to be Fox's Tail's actually going to go off here as Fav?
Fox's Tail's just ahead of Scope, 4.3, 4.5. The Scope, Ishada 6, 6.4 without a fight, 6.2. Illarab continues to come in for support at 14 now outbox. Looks like we're going to have a split screen here, Dave.
I know it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Navin's gone off late.
We love them, don't we?
It looks a little bit warm, actually.
Don't worry, this is why you're watching us and our reaction. So look, we think that, there's a range of opinions here. Kate is loving Scope for the rest of the year and is
Outbox
giving
just
him a
missed
chance
it.
today. Outbox did miss it. That won't be the plan, so she's going to have to rush him.
Illarab.
So Illarab absolutely fell out, didn't he? So he's going to want him to
can't
go
be
up front
bothered.
now.
Yeah.
Without a fight then, just leading Outbox. Holly's going to get the chance, is he? Or, I don't know, the horse might not be quick enough to go up there, actually. Andrea Zani has said, no. You've got a horse that we think will be going for the Ascot Gold Cup or being well after this in Scope. And
Yeah,
Rob Hornby
he's
saying,
up there.
I want a bit of it as well, which means they're very happy to win 56 grand today, of course. And Fox's Tail's the one for money out the back with Illarab, who's not the back marker now, Barry Orr. It is Ishada.
Yeah, Ishada anchored in last, 4.1 Fox's Tail's, 4.3 Scope, at 5.9 without a fight. Illarab 6.4. So the market kind of dismissing Illarab since it got to the front.
Right, okay. Right, so here we go.
I
Without a
didn't
fight.
quite
here.
expect Shada to be there, but
You
I'm
think she's-
never going to question Jim Crowley.
Well, do you remember on Al Arzi last year?
I'm never gonna question Jim
Waited,
Crowley.
and then it was a
And
bridal
look
job.
at
That
the
was on
stride
soft
on her,
ground.
Dave.
Yeah,
She's
that's Al-Arzi.
she just eats up the turf.
These are
doesn't she?
premium animals we're watching here, aren't they? These are
She is a
equine
beast, isn't she?
superstars, all of them. And it's great to see them going around in this famous sweeping track at Newbury in the sunshine. And they are sort of taking each on a little bit, Kate, aren't they?
Yeah, but I'm delighted for that, though, because the more of a test, the better then for Scope, ideally. I know he's just sort of sat on without a fight's girth. I'd say Andrea Zani's delighted about that. The fact he's being pressed on. But,
yeah, Tom Marquand's trying to do something about it now, isn't he? They're turning in. 5 furlongs to go.
Well, he's not having it anyway.
Yeah, so now this is interesting. Have they done a little bit too much? Andrea Zini skips into the home straight.
Scope's just starting to get outpaced, but if he can
Outbox
just
is now, fair play to him, he's coming back a little bit now. She's switched him
Tails is
outside.
out.
Fox's
Couple of
Tails is coming.
reminders.
Will he stay? That's the question.
Yeah, this is gonna be the
Illarab in the
test,
slipstream. And Ashada, Jim Crowley,
Keep going,
just
Scope.
nutted in the
Where's
first.
he going to go?
I
Well,
don't
this
know.
is the
Where's he
question.
going to go?
At the moment, none going better than without a fight up front. Is that the
There.
freebie?
Go
Now
on,
he's starting
Jim.
to feel it. Scope
Jim.
is filling his lungs. Jim Crowley will need the run. Illarab coming as well. This is anyone's, I think. Bar maybe Outbox at the
goodness
moment.
Come
Illarab
on.
stays. Scope is
on,
really
Kate,
running a
Scope
big
is
race.
keep
Fox's
staying,
Tails the
keep
money on the
staying. It's so
outside.
much slower
Ashada
than
just
them.
flattered to deceive a little bit. Illarab really digging deep here. He's going to come
staying.
over the top, I think. This is Illarab having a run
on,
in this
keep
race.
staying,
Has
keep
been a
staying,
huge
keep
precursor
staying.
to winning. It's
Keep
only him and
staying,
Scope now.
Scope.
Scope's run a massive race.
Keep staying,
Giving it all
Scope.
his
Go on,
weight.
Scope.
Could he possibly do it?
Go on,
Kate
Scope.
Tracey
Keep
believes
staying,
so.
keep
Illarab
staying.
on the inside. Tom Marquand in the drive.
Oh,
He's just going to touch him off.
no.
What a run that was.
Wow.
Illarab beats
His
Scope
day.
into second place.
Illarab, he's so funny.
Definitely, if you're taking one horse for the future out of that, Barry, it's got to be the runner-up, isn't it?
Scope.
Yeah, you'd have to think so, wouldn't you? Battled all the way to the line, will come on significantly for the run. Trade at a low of even money and running, Dave. Your winner, though, Betfair SB is 6.74. There was plenty of money for it just before the off. Got a very positive ride as well. Obviously, they knew it had come forward a lot for its first run of the season, where it finished fourth. So I don't think Fox's Tail stayed, and I think Ashada, that'll leave her spot on for Royal Ascot. I think she's in the Hardwick at Royal Ascot, is she? She's in a couple at Royal Ascot.
It's got to be the Hardwick. Yeah, she
Yeah,
don't
I'd say
mind
the
if it
Hardwick
rains.
for her. That'll leave her spot on.
Yeah.
She might have to have a tongue. She might have to have a tongue tie on. Christ, it's nearly on the
And
floor.
this is key moment, isn't it?
Look at her tongue. It's nearly on the floor.
What do you guys think? Did Fox's Tail stay or not?
No.
No.
No, he didn't there. No, you
Definitely has not stayed. And you weren't sure, were you, when you looked at the pedigree? But
He didn't, and how I can't wait for you to get a quote from Haggis, because they have just kept the faith with us. So as I said earlier, every interview.
Slightly easier ground. You can see that water ground. We're watching it back now, the final couple of furlongs. He's definitely appreciated. Look, he grabs it a bit, doesn't he? Scope has just run an absolutely beautiful race. And listen, we said beforehand, you
Beautiful
kept the faith
horse.
with him, Kate. And you might have done 20 quid on him here or whatever, but I don't know. I suppose some people would have backed him each way, but he has run an absolute blinder. And everything told you not to back it, and you sort of feel vindicated that you have still, don't you?
That's it. Even though he hasn't won there, I still feel vindicated for keeping the faith. I just love that horse. His rate of progression last year was just mind-blowing, really. And then for the bravery for Connections to then send him here. Rafe Beckett's, I know he had a winner at Salisbury earlier in the week, but goodness me, he's been on the cold list for an awful long time. For Scope to then pull that out under a Group 1 penalty in this race. And this is why I felt that Fox's Tails had every chance to get this trip.
He hasn't quite got home, is he, looking at that?
This has been a complete different entity. I know this has only been over a mile 4, so a furlong further than the Group 3, mile 3 that he faced at this track last season.
Yeah.
But that was nowhere near the test that was
He's
set
not
up
even
here.
got third, has he? So
No, that wasn't. But this has been a proper test over a mile 4, deliberately so.
Scope is one hell of a beautiful looking
chestnuts just get you, don't they?
It's like that deep, rich chestnut. He's lovely to watch, isn't he? I mean,
it's been a lively market, the Gold Cup market, of course. Strad came back, didn't he? We've seen Kyprios, of course, winning. Everyone's saying that's the new poster boy in the Cup division.
Yeah.
I don't know. This Scope might go under the radar. And this is the conundrum now, isn't it?
Trushan, they all have to beat.
Oh, well, indeed. Trushan as well. We've got it. Oh, man, absolutely. And I don't know. This is the conundrum. When you think, I want to be with a horse after a prep, and yet it runs like a Sharda did. But watching that back, she's only beaten one. He's not hard on her at all. And the way she moved into that race, if there's a little bit of dig in the Hardwick, you've got a course that she loves.
Yeah.
Can't be having that tongue hanging out like that, though.
You weren't having it. What does that mean?
Her tongue is completely out.
What does that mean? You're the
It
riders
just
here.
bugs
What does
me.
this mean?
I just don't like
Does
them.
it annoy you?
She just needs a tongue back in her mouth.
Well, sometimes you sort of see it, don't you? For us laymen out there, we're a bit like, whatever, it's still running really fast.
Yeah, it sort of depends, does it? Some horses
You don't really want their tongue right out when they're racing. You want their
Some horses have a tongue tie fitted deliberately.
yeah.
for
You
that,
want
don't
all
they?
the air to be able to go in properly. You don't want, if I pull your tongue out, Dave.
Hang on, someone wants to kick me in the shins, and now you're pull my tongue out. Sure, most of the racing media would like you to do that, but I'm afraid not today. I'm having quite a good afternoon, actually.
You really are. So you've had 2. I've had 1. Kate, you've had 1.
0.
What?
No,
Nil
0
point.
so far.
So
I've been
close,
nil
though,
and a half
Kate.
far.
Nil point. What's on tonight?
Oh, yes. Happy
Have you heard about my
Eurovision
treble?
Day.
Have you heard about my treble? Okay.
Go for the floor.
So Baid for the Lockinge, then Liverpool to beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final, and then I couldn't get on Ukraine, unfortunately, for at that price for a treble, so I've had to go with Sweden then, 7-1. I think I've got 24 points something then for that treble.
It is Eurovision Day, of course, isn't it? We did a preview here. Kieran Thurwell, senior producer, he's absolutely mad with it. People will be having parties,
I
of course.
love it. It's brilliant. How
It's
could you not
potty,
like
isn't it? And is it all just going to be a benefit tonight, do we think, then? Is that the thinking?
Oh, Ukraine's song is really good. I really like it. And Kieran was telling me beforehand, I thought Ukraine should have won last year. Basically, I thought their song was brilliant. And some of the same artists who were in it last year are performing again this year. Kieran was filling me in.
Kieran's loving it.
We've got a fact. You can actually
good at
watch
it.
the rounds and stuff. It's quite a big betting heat. I don't know, Barry, do you ever bet on Eurovision, or is it just madness?
No, but one of the first things when that war kicked off, I had people telling me that Ukraine got on them. They were a good thing for the Eurovision, that they would get that vote.
Yeah.
And they're 130 on now, so they're probably unbackable, but I don't think anyone would begrudge seeing them win it. And I think it's going to be obviously a tactical and very political vote.
And I believe there's some serious liquidity on the market, isn't there, in the exchange? It's like 5 million or something there.
It's always crazy money on the Betfair Exchange on the Eurovision. You wouldn't think it, but it's always mad. I'll get a look at it later, but it's not a market I've really been paying much attention to, other than knowing that Ukraine are big odds on to win it. And Sweden, like Kate just said there, 13-2. We've seen plenty of money for them as well.
We've got to get to the 225 shortly, but I've only ever had one bet on the Eurovision. It was a winner. There's a guy called Stefan Edwards who's in the analysis department. I'm just trying to think when he starts doing it. He watches all these rounds, right? He used to anyway, and he said, guys, you've got to get on Denmark. Right, so I'm just like, oh, God, here we go. Anyway, so I was talking to him, and I had a beer and I watched. And this little guy came out with a ukulele.
Fairy
or whatever
tale.
it was. And I thought, this is an absolute good thing. And it was one of the best nights of my life. I just watched it all come in. It was marvellous. And I've never had another bet since. So, look, good luck if you're
It's
playing out there and
fascinating to
enjoy
hear
it.
about, liquidity, 5 million.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
I bet on it every year.
I mean, how would that compare to other events, Barry? Just quickly, while we're obsessing about the Eurovision.
Comparison to our FA Cup final.
Well, there'll be more in the FA Cup final. There is about 5 million matched on it in pounds already on the Betfair Exchange, and between in running and that, and when you see the points coming through, if it's anyway close, that could almost double. But by all accounts, they're not expecting this to be a close match or a close event in terms of in running betting, because Ukraine should be scoring maximum points from early doors. But it would probably compare favourably with a run-of-the-mill Premier League game.
Oh, right, okay, there we are.
In
Fair
the context, yeah.
Sounds like your treble's doomed anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it? Just exactly. No, because I have actually done this treble with Betfair as well. They were the only ones that would basically offer me the treble, so thanks, Betfair.
You are a company.
The UK have been a very popular bet as well.
Yeah, 6-1 last time I checked.
Things
for
you
the
never
UK.
think you'll hear.
Second
Things you
favourite.
never think you'll hear.
You heard our song though, it's great.
Okay, all right.
Really
Lots
good.
of people out there watching this afternoon. Great to have you with us. Let us know where you are. Marlon Allen says hi from Barbados. My favourite holiday destination,
goodness
bar
me.
none. I mean, Italy was all right, but I love Barb's.
I thought you loved the Amalfi Coast.
I did very much so. My
did you
pocket
go
is
there?
just recovering this afternoon. Thank goodness.
You went at the weekend.
Did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Sorry.
No, it was all right.
Negroni, best drink in the world.
Yeah, I did have a Negroni. I kicked
Best
off with
drink
one
in
of
the
them.
world.
Anyway,
One? Oh, is that it?
they're
Slip down.
over there. They're pretty strong. Right, 225 money back offer. Barry Orr, and you really like one in this, don't you?
Yeah, I really like Haymaker here. Obviously, yeah, as you say, Dave, this is the money back offer on the Betfair Sportsbook and Exchange. If your horse fails to place, you get your cash back as a free bet. So if you don't finish in the first three, you get your money back as a free bet. Up to a tenner. Check the T's and C's on the website there. Haymaker 3.6 at the moment. 6. Harry 3. Lear Spectacle is 7.4. 12.5 Ernie's Valentine. 11 I'm a Gambler. 11.5 Auditor. 14.5 Bardem. Like I said, Haymaker the one for me here, Dave. Won the Betfair Racing Only Better podcast handicap over 7 furlongs in Newmarket on 1,000 Guineas Day by 3/4 of a length from North Lincoln. Made all on that magic far side, and it made all the difference to him. It was drawn 1 there, is drawn 10 at 10 here. Got £6 for that. Dropping back to 6 furlongs is not a massive concern for me. And Harry Davis claims a really valuable 7 off him. I think he's my nap of the day anyway. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. He gets out 10 at 10. He bags that rail, and hopefully he won't see another horse. 3.6 at the moment. We're going to have 50 quid win on him, please, Kate, at 3.6. Again, happy to be a price taker here.
Your driving pal has put this up as one of his best of the day as well, Paul Keeley. If you were reading the Saturday Sizzlers today, I spoke to Kills about this time yesterday morning. I said, I'm sensing a 2-pointer here. He said, now that I've seen the stalls are on the stand side, he really ought to just take a lot of catching here.
Yeah, very strong handicap. I can see all the love for Haymaker. I really can. Didn't quite finish out his races last year. The Garden operations obviously worked. So it kind of ticks all the boxes. But I'm actually going to go for something different. I might regret this, but no.
Go on.
Keep the faith, Nats. It's called Harry 3. I'm just drawn to this horse with Adam Kirby. Are you on Harry 3?
I mean, you say something different. It's the second fav. You know,
No, I mean against Haymaker.
Yes, I'm going against it. It's just a price thing.
Oh, right. Well, I just thought Harry 3, with Adam Kirby back on board. I know Adam won twice at Kempton. That was on the all-weather, wasn't it, in the early days? I like seeing Adam back on board. I just thought the end of April, this horse to me looks like he's still improving. And that's what I like to see, particularly in a handicap of this type. So, sorry it's not a bigger price, but Harry 3 is the one for me.
Well, there you are. And also, when we're at Newmarket on that Betfair Guineas weekend, I'm hoping he does the Ottoman Fleet thing here and takes a lead from Haymaker. And I'm wondering whether he might have to. But look, it's a 5-1 shot again. Haymaker, I can see it 100%. And
I can.
Honestly, Kills was so persuasive. So people love it when Kills goes for something obvious.
But you could take, like, look, there's enough runners to be brave. I mean, you could have a go on Ernie's Valentine in this at 9-1. Look,
from stall 9.
Yeah, in the blinkers. Got to leave the stalls, but the jockey with 7.
We've got to be high
angle.
here. We're thinking, Kate, haven't we? Or are you?
Yes. No, I'm thinking high as well here, but I'm taking them on though with River Pride in 8. In the hope that she can also go forwards, where I think this pace pressure is going to be interesting between River Pride and Haymaker as well. Of course, Haymaker is likely to have the Golden Highway, therefore, from stall 10. But I still think River Pride, though, in stall 8 is likely to go forwards. Both of her wins done on those last 2 starts were when making all. So when I sort of was first looking at this race, there were the only 2 pace options for me. Haymaker and River Pride. And as I was saying beforehand, if a Guineas meeting taught us anything, pace was so optimal then at Newmarket. But as you say, it seems as though back at this meeting it's flipped towards the standside rail rather than, as we said, for the Guineas, it was the low draws. But yeah, River Pride though, for me, I mean, she looked as though it was a fluke on her penultimate start when she won at Chelmsford at 33-1 then in that nursery, but proved that wasn't the case clearly then at Salisbury last time out. So I'm hoping that she can go forwards for her informed team of Richard Hannon, and hopefully they won't get into a pace burn-up.
Yeah, she's interesting, isn't she? Because she got the breeding, she got the colours, she got the trainer, she got the jockey, she got the draw, and she's definitely a slow burner, isn't she? So interesting, Kate. You were just touched off in the last. No one's gone for Lear Special, who has got the one poke. There's a chance that could be well handicapped, but it's in stall 1 for Ray Dawson, one of my favourite jockeys out there, and Roger Varian as well. Ashada's trainer. We'll try and get some quotes from that Aston Park as well. Some of the beating horses as well for you, coming straight off the Racing Post Live bench. And listen, who's having a good time this afternoon? I've been great company this afternoon. I've got Nat Green, I've got Kate Tracey, I've got Barry Orr from Betfair as well. And some of the things we've said so far have got me very interested, and it's just a good time of year, this, isn't it? The right horses tend to be to the fore, don't they? And the weather's set fair.
Yep, and you've got so much then to look forward to, and every race has such a bearing on future targets as well, and they're important in their own right. It's just, this is why sort of, you know, people talk about the difference between jump racing and flat racing. I love that Cheltenham's the focus, because for jump racing it gives everything a narrative. Every race, every weekend has a narrative going into Cheltenham. But the difference between flat racing then, when you have all of these quality contests weekend after weekend, you have a future engagement then to have one eye on, but also at the same time it's just as significant, that race there and then, which is just great.
Yeah, it's not all about one meeting.
Puzzle solving.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, and you see all the markers, you watch them run and then you get excited about the next run. It's well, and it comes so thick and fast.
This is going to be thick and fast, ladies. This is going to be proper thick and fast stuff. And Barry, is he going to be what, about 9 to 4?
Yeah, 3.3 at the moment, 6.2 Harry 3, 8.2 Lear Special, Ernie's Valentine 12.5, 9.8 Auditor for James Doyle. That's the Springer, the late Springer, but they're all in.
Great stuff. Thanks, Barry. All right, good luck then if you're with Kills and Barry with a Haymaker looking to land the knockout blow. And he's pinged the boxes, which is what you wanted to see. This is absolutely key. River Pride up there as well.
Romantic
time, which is interesting. She's quick filly she is. She's right down the centre, which if you're in Lear Special from stall 1, don't tear up your ticket. Harry 3 as well, getting a lovely run, not wanting the rail there, Adam Kirby. That's interesting. Now they're settling down and they're converging to the far side. If you're on Lear Special from stall 1, it's just a nightmare place to be, isn't it?
Haymaker's settling down that much. He's absolutely keen.
He is. I mean, he wants to go a million miles an hour, which is suiting I'm a gambler then. The people
let him off.
Just let him go, you think, Barry?
Yeah, just let him off.
Yeah.
And River, I'll tell you what, Kate Tracy's sitting there very quietly on the inside. Adam
I
Kirby's going to need a run. This was the problem if you were on Harry 3, basically. Now he's hanging down the dip a little bit. He wants to run right out.
Get this inside. Let him hang off the rail and come up the inside.
I like it. Pocket the profit coming as well.
Come on, Adam Kirby!
At the moment. Look at Kate Tracy on the rail. I'll tell you what, I think Kate Tracy's pulled it off. Harry 3's going wide. You don't want to be there. She's drifting on the rail. Kate Tracy's it's between the girls because Harry 3's coming.
You can do it, Adam Kirby!
That was hard luck, wasn't it? Harry 3 takes it out then. Haymaker hits the deck, no good for him. Harry 3 takes it out. It's that firm, isn't it? Kirby Cox in a sprint on quick ground. He had to go all the way around the houses. What a run from River Pride, and a massive price for Kate Tracy. And maybe Ernie's Valentine has run on for third, I think. Oh, Barry, he went too far too soon, didn't he? I think Haymaker.
He never looked happy, Dave. He had his jaw cocked, and then, you know, when he met the dip, he kind of was like a crab going down the dip, and then I just never happy for my money. It just sometimes when they drop back like that, I didn't think it'd be an issue, but it looked like he was going plenty fast all the way. But your winner, Betfair SP, is 6.4. Harry 3, well flagged up by you there. And Adam Kirby back in the plate again. That was a nice angle.
It's Adam Kirby. He's flipping magician, he is. Not just because he's won, he's just so good. I love it.
I saw him winning the race, but I didn't see him winning like that. Go on, Barry.
The runner-up, Kate, your horse hit a low 1.58, so nearly 6 to 4 on. Yeah, or 7 to 4 on.
On that Golden Highway.
That's a kick
great ride by Sean Levy as well.
She just hung off the rail a bit. That might have just cost her, I think, a little bit, because that rail is it obviously was factored strongly into your thinking, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's it from the high draw then as well. Because I ran you know that I love running my friends for these races. So we only had, the 10 runners then within this. 4 of them ticked all the boxes. Romantic Time, Harry 3, Ernie's Valentine and River Pride. Harry 3, the only thing that he fell back on is that usually he's more of a hold-up performer, and that was putting me off then going into this. So I wanted to take him on that basis, even though he was on the back of that course and distance handicap, which is a huge positive to bring into this race, and his rating was maybe a little bit lower than ideal, but this wasn't a vintage renewal of this race, so you had to look at those a little bit further down. But Harry 3, he's such a consistent, likeable horse. We know how well he goes over this course and distance.
He's quite brave there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really was. He had to be there, didn't he? But yeah, no, I was really pleased with River Pride, how she's run there, because the gap opened up for her. Sean Levy was patient, and he was just waiting for Haymaker to drift off of the rail, bagged then up the Golden Highway, which gave her every chance. But yeah, just not on this occasion.
You're nearing one.
I'm nearing one. I was not another second. That was the first thing I said.
Hitting the cross.
You're due one.
You're due one.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith.
Someone once said to me they had 8 seconds in a row, and I said, "Oh, you're on great form then." Because it means that you're, if
Don't change it,
just don't keep with it.
Don't change it.
We're just trying to make you feel better, Kate, because I've had 2 winners, don't worry about it.
Oh, I was waiting for this to
Thanks
come
for
out.
the extra kick in the guts there, Nat.
Yes, okay, yes.
That's very well done.
You know I'm only
Don't worry,
joking.
she's going to have that trifecta fall flat on her face when we get to Baid time, which I'm delighted to say T-minus 1 hour
It's coming
to the
in.
Lockinge.
Trifecta's coming
Just
in.
2 more races this afternoon at Newbury. One of them coming up. It's one of the best handicaps anywhere in the universe. It is the London Gold Cup. We've seen group winners take this out. They usually go to Royal Ascot. None of the runners have got a group entry, would you believe, in this year's pack. But there are still some very interesting stables and horses, and we will pick the bones out of it once Barry gives us an update. And the trade, please, Barry.
Yeah, so Israr is 4.7 favourite at the moment. Red Vineyard with Tom Marquand on a treble is 6.2. 6.6 Mr. Big Stuff. Wineglass Bay 10. 9.8 Surrey Miss. And it's 17 bar. I like Red Vineyard. I'm going to back a win and place, Kate. We're going to split our stake. I have 25 quid win at 6.2.
Red Vineyard, yeah. 25
This is
win.
the additional place race on the Betfair Sportsbook, paying 4 places on the Sportsbook instead of 3 here. What we might do, actually, can you toggle across to the Sportsbook?
Yeah, go to. So you want me to leave that on the exchanges? Exchange.
Yeah, leave that all together. We'll go to the Sportsbook.
Yep.
Just click Sportsbook and select horse racing. Yeah. And we'll go Red Vineyard. And we're going to have 25 quid each way, just to avail of the 4 places on the Betfair Sportsbook,
Each way.
which is a really fun session.
Perfect. There you go.
Okay, all right. We're cooking with gas all of a sudden.
We're cooking with gas in here. It's
Yeah, he's been
absolutely boiling
smashed
in
up,
the
hasn't he,
studio,
this
isn't
chap?
it?
Warmest.
Tom
Isn't it?
Marquand on a quick double. It is a bit warm in here, isn't it? Honestly, in the winter it's freezing, and in the
It's
summer...
all the excitement. Yeah, in the winter we've all got like cardigans on. And
I said hi to Marlon in Barbados. It feels like I'm at Garrison Savannah at the moment, Marlon. So, which I will take, actually.
Tell us
Not
what
just the
temperature
company.
he's at the minute, and we can judge if it's
if
how
it's
we are.
Barb's is a bit like this, let me tell you. All right, it's London Gold Cup time. We know that Barry likes William Muir, Chris Classic and Tom Marquand. A low draw in this, 7 of the last 9. And my head has been ruling my heart all afternoon. But I think the Fav will take a lot of beating here despite stall 12. Jim Crowley not quite had it right. This would have been with the third leg of the treble that everyone was dreaming about at the start of the day. Or the second leg, sorry. Erars, Eshrada. You could have had a 4-timer, of course, couldn't you? This would have been the other one. What was everyone talking about the treble? You could have got a 4-timer. This chap hated the dip. Capital D.
Dip. Yes.
Yeah, this was like a double dip for him, Kate, wasn't it? When he's buying a horse called Educator, who's a very interesting horse for the Haggis team and is going to turn up, we think, on Derby Day for the prestigious Mile 2 handicap there on Diamond Jubilee for Her Majesty. This bloke would have probably beaten him, I think, had he handled the dip. Jim looked after it. Stall 12. If it anything else, this might have been the nap.
Ooh,
This is a race that John and Thady will be thinking, we've got the right horse for this. When he started off at Doncaster, I think I wrote that race up for the analysis department. The quotes I was getting were quite strong on him. He then wasn't so good on his second start, but it was by no means a disgrace. And like I say, watch that back. You got time? We're, 12 minutes away from London Gold Cup. Tell me that horse loved Newmarket last time. This is his trip. And it's just up to Jim now, basically. In Crowley, we trust. If he gets an early posse, look out for that price crashing down, I think, and that will be key. Kate, what did you like?
Yeah,
You do one.
So I'm in total agreement, though. So hopefully I'm jumping on the winning bandwagon here now with Dave. Yeah, because I really, really like him. I mean, he's just improved with each of his 3 starts so far. And then making his handicap debut last time out on that reappearance, I totally agree with you. He did not handle Newmarket. He still showed so many signs of greenness, even on his 3rd start as well. And as you say, he was beaten by the Smart Educator, who's rated 90, High Fibre in second, who's rated 89. And Isra is able to run off of the same mark of 89 here himself. But he's capable of more progression, steps up in grade here as well. Should be far happier at Newbury. And he's just a horse to keep on side for the season, I think.
Great stuff. Okay, so again, Echo. He might, and again, having seen the watered ground, he's a little bit like Ilarab. I think they wanted the softer the better for this bloke.
Yeah, I got 2 in this. I think Isra is the winner. I was at Doncaster that day. Beat a few decent types, to be fair, on his racecourse debut. It was quite a nice little race. Bumped into a fairly smart horse with Wind Your Neck In. I love that name.
At Salisbury.
At Salisbury. Newmarket latest, we've already talked about it, but he also dwelt the start. He looked unbalanced a furlong out in the dip. Still managed to get a close-up third, though. It was a close-up third, and I thought it was an eye-catching performance. But given his natural improvement, which we hope for this horse, on a more conventional galloping track, like Kate said, at Newbury, it just ticks all of the boxes. So it's quite an obvious pick. So Israel's the winner, but I am going to put up a bigger price each way.
You're on a hat trick. I know. I'm sort of saying that.
I am gonna put up a bigger price each way, and I hate it. No, it's great. It's a Richard Hand horse, but he's got 3 in this: Marsul, Razzle Dazzle, and Zoom. And I really hope I'm not going to get egg on my face and pick the wrong one. I'm going to put up each way is Zoom. He's really stoutly bred by a day, Cole. 2 eye-catching runs. Look at those runs. They were only both fourth in mile races this season. But they were eye-catching runs, and that's what I love to watch when I watch replays. And I think a step up in trip, just like this, is exactly what he needs. I could be completely off the mark here, but Zoom's going to be my each way, and Israel to win.
That was at Goodwood on Guineas weekend, wasn't it? Not a lot of people were looking at that, and he's on the outside stall.
Yeah, and watch it.
He wants this trip, doesn't he? Interesting.
Yeah. It just really fascinated me, Zoom.
Kate Tracey nearly pulled off a big price outsider in the previous race at Newmarket, and Natwal the Fav will win for her and keep her strike rate going.
Yeah, put my selection, Zoom. I mean, that's my each way.
Oh, you're going to be livid about that. Well done, Kieran and the guys.
Oh, do it.
That's it. Absolutely.
It can't
put it
win
on
them
top.
all,
You know
can
what will
you?
happen now.
Can't win them all.
And ridden by the best named jockey anywhere in the universe as well, Thor Hammer Hansen.
Isn't it?
Impossible to beat that name.
It's just the most amazing name.
Yeah.
Also because I'm a bit biased.
Marvel Universe.
Isn't he? Yeah, he is straight out.
Royal
of
Ascot
Marvel.
winning jockey, of course.
What about
Thor's the best name.
whose name were you saying the last time we were in here, though? Oh, Kevin Philippart de Foy.
Oh,
who would you rather? Kevin Philippart de Foy.
Well, this is very biased.
Very Kate Tracey pronunciation, that was.
My late grandma's Icelandic, so Thor's a very common name in our family, so you're going to have to stick with Thor.
What does it mean, like Tom?
No, it's just like Thor,
Hammer.
isn't it?
Hammer. That's what I was going with, Barry. Does that actually mean hammer, or is that just a Marvel?
Have you got a relative called Hammer then? Have you?
No, I've got quite a few called Thor, Johan, Carl Johan,
Of course.
Gudrun, Helga, Elsa,
She's off.
Eva, Wilhelmina. No, my mum's
We had to
name.
do it, didn't we?
My mum's name's amazing. My mum's called Eva Wilhelmina.
Oh, that's cool.
Sounds like an ice cream,
Love a
doesn't it?
tongue
£5.
twister.
Can I have an Eva Wilhelmina
Yeah.
for a £5 with a flake on?
Overcharging.
We won't be able to get one at Newbury for a £5 today, I can tell you that much.
Get an Eva Villamina for
All right, let's get some more
$5
social
Newbury.
interaction up then. Who's coming up? Because we've got a couple of minutes till this race. You can see Barry's selection there. Reminders, Red Vineyard. MI. Is it MI? I think it's me. Is it MI? Best bet of the day with Barry in the next Red Vineyard. OK, so again, low draw. That it is a big draw race. Right, we've got some time.
His form was franked yesterday as well with the horse winning in York, Al Kareem.
Yes.
Won in York. Made all yesterday to win in York. The horse that had finished
Barry,
second to him.
that
in
was
there.
my bet
Sunday.
yesterday. My only winner.
Al Kareem, who
But
also...
then you should be on this, shouldn't you?
Well, I'm not, Barry.
We
it's
could
not
say
quite my
Mr.
little
Big Stuff as
brain.
well, couldn't you? Who finished second to him? Looked like he had he looked like he had Al Kareem cooked. I backed the third in that race at York yesterday called Spaycaster, and he just ran terribly. So I'm not sure, but Keel's again very confident this is going to go close. For Richard Spencer, Holly Dalton, Keel's knows the owners, Cunningham and that lot. He's got a... So Keel's had a good go at this, and the price has contracted. All right, so look, we're kind of covering the market, but if you want something to have a crack at. Outside still, no problem for Zoom, says Natalie Green. OK, good stuff. Where are we? I was going to give you some quotes. Haggis again, having a good day?
Yeah.
Yes.
William is having a good day?
But I want to hear this about
Good
El
guest.
Arab, because I'd be so pleased.
Thought the ground was too quick for him today.
Yep. That
Tom
makes
said it
sense.
was quicker in the John Porter, which we kind of said straight afterwards. I think he wants a bit of dig in the ground, travel much sweeter. I never entered him at Royal Ascot because I don't think he likes going right-handed. That was something he told me last year this time when they were looking at the e-board and things like that. So it will be the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud next to Fort Arab. I would love to see him take that out, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
He deserves a biggie.
And
He's
he
a
does
tough
deserve
fighter.
a biggie,
Around them.
and with
Yeah,
the cut in the
with a bit of
ground.
cut in the ground, right
One
way
for you,
around.
Kate Tracey, coming up. Rafe Beckett about Scope, our horse to follow this season. He had a good race. I'm very pleased. It was a good prep for the year. He nearly pulled it off. And I wasn't worried about the ground because good ground is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't want to run him on fast ground at York this week. He could have gone up and had a go at Stradivarius, couldn't he? We'll go for the Gold Cup now. Mentally, it's going to sharpen him up a good deal. Today, couldn't have gone better without winning. If I had a magic wand for Ascot, I would want soft ground, but I don't think he's ground dependent. Because he wouldn't want it rattling quick, otherwise he's fine. Barry, did Scope come in the market on the sportsbook for the Gold Cup curveball there for you?
No, Dave, unchanged at 12. It's a pretty lively market, that it has to be said. You've Trushan, you've Stradivarius yesterday, who was into 7-2 from 8 or something, and Kyprios was 8-1 on last night in Leopardstown, but won very, very easy. Won the way you'd expect an 8-on chance to win. And I think he was a bit quirky last year, but they may have got to the bottom of him now, and he's a different proposition this time
Did you
round.
put him up in the Vars last year? Do you remember?
Yeah, I did.
didn't you?
Yeah.
That's the Kamari one. Something happened. He fell out the gates or something, didn't he? From memory, I can't exactly remember what it was, but regular viewers will know. So,
just
sort of
gonna say I was
proven
on his
right there.
sister.
These
Search for a
Moyclair
song,
horses, as
isn't
they
it?
get search for a song, exactly. These Moyclair fillies, they stay so well, and the colts that they have as well when they keep maturing. Maturing?
Okay.
Back in the tongue twister game. But I was trying to think when I was talking about that, the filly that took the Cheshire Oaks for them, Moyclair.
Don't know why you're looking at me.
The Ryan Moore horse that won the Cheshire Oaks.
Thoughts of June.
Thoughts of June, which is
goodness
very
me. I
well
was just
named with the Oaks in mind.
trying to get it, yeah.
They just stay so well, these Moyclair. Great families, aren't they? They go back and
A
back.
great attitude. When you've got them, as Barry says, they can have a quirk earlier on. I'm sure we saw that with Search for a Song herself in her early parts of her career. But when you've got them, goodness me,
She
just
has a
have
good
such an
racing
attitude.
temperament, though.
Yeah, nowadays.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
she's got a good racing
Yeah,
temperament.
she's great.
Lots of
that
people with
kick was
Barry out there. I
with her
can see in the
yesterday.
track, by the way, guys. Red Vineyard, Andy Sim there as well. Brendan.
These are
Davis.
just a little bit free down to post there. Just looking at him going down to post there on the TV, and he's
Yeah,
just
I
a
agree.
little bit free.
I agree. Just looks a bit
One we
free.
haven't spoken about, Mr. Big Stuff. He was nearly favoured for this at the 48-hour deck stage, but he's drifted out to, he's 9-2 now. He had out towards 5-1 in the exchange,
It was a big price in
5.7.
the week, wasn't it? And Kills put him up, I think, Barry. And what tends to happen is they go in and then nearer the off, you sometimes see them coming out. If Kills was sitting in the studio now, he would say, don't worry about it, get on again, he'd probably say. I think that's all. I mean, he looks a picture.
Red Vineyard looks absolutely
Marceau is another
gorgeous.
springer in the market.
Oh, that's the other Hannon horse. It would be Sosro if you got the wrong
Marceau.
one, wouldn't it? Let's have a think about him, of course. For Al-Sakaba, we don't see a lot of their horses these days, do we? But Richard Hannon still doing the job for them. And New Dimension, another Nottingham winner. Very unexposed. 3-1 on shot, made hard work of it. Probably why the market's going against it. Surrey Mist is very easy to back as well, Barry. That was fancied at the 48-hour decks as well, wasn't it? For George Baker on a hat
Yeah,
trick.
out to 9-1 on the exchange. Was a 7-1 chance yesterday at one stage. So yeah, he's easy enough to back too. But it's quite strong at the head of the market now, Dave. 4.5, which is 7-2. Red Vineyard 6.2. Haven't hit 7 at one stage. 5.8. Mr. Big Stuff. Money coming for that now. Wineglass Bay and Surrey Mist both 10.
All right, Barry, thanks.
Another one, though, that I haven't seen them yet in the pictures, but I just wouldn't completely ignore, just for a bit of fun, if you're looking for bigger prices, is Wootton Sun, very aptly named by Wootton Bassett. For Richard Fahy. I mean, raised to £3, but it could be more to come, really, from Wootton Sun. I'd like to have a look.
Remind me where he won on his
have a look
return.
at
I
him.
watched that. It was Doncaster, wasn't it? He looked beat and then he sort of stuck his head out again.
Yeah, it's just one, I'd sort of have a wee look
Is
at.
anyone surprised by the price of Luminous Light? Bearing in mind it's the Johnsons,
Ryan Moore rides that now as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is drawn in 1. It's a likely pace angle. I don't know. Low draw. I was very surprised that's as big as it is. Yeah. So
Chepstow
maybe
form,
we've got
it?
group performers lurking in this handicap. Is it as strong as normal? We'll find out very shortly because they are embarking onto their journey into the stalls. One Glass Bay we've not mentioned. Better mention them all for Dan Muscat and James Ferguson. Strong team they've had. Great winter. And El Bedegon was a bit disappointing, wasn't he, in the Dante, but I'm sure he'll be back to fight another
wasn't
day.
he? But I just think
He ran
the quicker
no race,
ground.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I wonder if it was just the ground.
3 furlongs
there
out, you're
for him.
thinking, we got one here, and then or was
yeah.
it just, you know?
But
They
everyone's-
thought they'd get away with the ground, that it was heavily watered, but
Yeah.
the way he relished the really soft and heavy
Saint
ground
Cloud.
last year, especially for his win in France, Saint Cloud, you know, he was opposable on, I suppose, but hopefully there's more to come from him. I'd say you'll see him back in France, where
I
they'll be
think
searching maybe for a
I
bit of
think
soft
so,
ground.
yeah.
Reports were that he hadn't grown at all, though. Ken Pitterson was saying
That's
that
the
he was
interesting
still
thing,
a
isn't it?
2-year-old. He
Good
had
old
not grown.
KP.
Yeah, Ken
brilliant.
was at
Paddock
York,
watcher.
actually. I went with Ross Bryan, and Ross kept hot-footing it down to the paddock and
I
coming
can
back. and
probably
he was,
see the
he was
price
on good
reflection
form.
of Luminous Light. Hot, sweaty, backing up. Doesn't look
good.
particularly interested in wanting to go into the stalls at all at this moment. Sorry Miss was quite slow to go in, but it's gone in. But I'd just keep your eye on Luminous Light. It's just walking backwards. They're actually nowhere near the stalls yet. So I was going to try and keep him to the end to put him in, but I'd keep an eye on it.
Interesting horse in shot, actually, La Pulga.
Yes.
For the
very
team that
interesting.
love this race. The
Yeah.
Charltons.
Is it 3 of the last 6 years? I think they've won it.
Yeah. And
Something like that,
the Time
yeah.
Test, Imperial Aviator, and Headman
Time
as well.
Test.
All group horses.
Yeah, Headman, exactly. Yeah.
This chap just hasn't really, I don't know, he looks a bit slow, if anything. He was 20-1 on his return at Sandown. That was over a trip that was probably too short for him, and he was plugging on a bit. But it's just interesting that he's here.
I don't know how long they're going to wait for this Luminous Light. It's not looking...
I was wondering why the price is so big, and you've called it, haven't you? That's
It's not
why.
looking great at the moment. He just seems to be a little bit upset.
I'd say with Ryan Moore on it, they'll give it every opportunity. I'm sure the jockey will ensure that.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. All right, okay. So, Isra, Barry, just while we wait to
Making
see if this
progress.
goes in, what are we looking at, 100 to 30?
Yeah, bang on. 4.3, Dave. 6-4
Yeah.
each at 2. Red Vineyard, Mr. Big Stuff,
He's in.
8-4. Wine Glasses come in, and Surrey Miss come in from 10.
Thank you, Barry Orr. Then you've got the final live market update as they jump off. And as expected, Ryan Moore from the One Poke on Luminous Light.
Peace,
The sweaty Luminous Light looking for some of the action. Unlike Surrey Mist, who goes right to the back as well with Marsul. Mr. Big Stuff as well. He's settling in. Now, where's Isra? This
Red
is
Vineyard
key.
going for it.
Trapping on here, aren't
Red
Isn't he?
Vineyard up there with
Red
a share of the
Vineyard's
lead.
really
This
going.
is key. Watch Jim Crowley here then and Zoom on the outside. They're caught out. Along with the other outsider that Nat mentioned from Stall 11, Wootton's son, he's caught out as well. Now, Jim is taking his medicine on the favourite, and he's doing what Jim Crowley can do. I mean, this is some cajones he's got on him here
Yeah.
after what happened in the first race, right?
It is, but he does look green still. I know
Yeah.
that they've gone a pace then out of stalls. There was plenty enough battle on then for the lead. But even still, he was still sort of wandering about even behind horses
Yeah.
then. And that's what he showed last time out.
He's settled all right, isn't he? They've
He's
definitely
keen
put the
enough,
anchor
like
on.
Barry
Still
said.
favoured in running. He's still 5-2 in running.
Is he?
Interestingly,
Well,
yeah.
it's because he's not car parked, I think. That's probably why. And he has settled all
I think
right.
they're setting it up for a pace collapse, are they?
Yeah,
They've
they did
gone
go hard
really
up.
fast up
Settle
front.
down a bit.
Yeah,
was
Red
really-
Vineyard is definitely pressuring, isn't he?
What
Nat?
was really interesting about this is early on, Thor was really looking round. Like Thor, the jockey, was really looking exactly who wanted to beat
Your
it. But
cousin.
they're all trying to work it out, aren't they? Jim now, for me, is in a great
Now they're
posse
coming.
on Isra.
3.5 furlongs out then.
I don't find out
Luminous
to
Light.
7-1 Israel.
Red Vineyard is now about to take it up. Tom
6.8.
Marquand waiting.
Wine
Winding
Glass
up.
Bay,
Yeah, he's
4.3.
got no run whatsoever. Mr. Big Stuff on the inside as well. Bizarre Law
on,
for
Israel.
Andrew
Keep
Pauling and David
responding.
Probert going all right.
Yeah.
Now Israel is trying to come. This will
so
tell us about the
green.
mentality of the
Most
horse. I think
green.
Surrey Miss not totally out of it either. Israel just lacking a bit of toe here. And Lewis is coming in. Wine Glass Bay on the
plugging
inside.
on.
This low
Keep
draw
plugging on,
absolutely crucial. Now
the
Israel
action,
taking
idea.
on the turbo.
on the
Could he
outside.
possibly get there? Zoom running an absolute
Come
blind.
on,
Surrey
Zoom,
Miss
keep
as well.
going,
This
just
is going to be
replace.
Israel, I think, isn't it? Zoom's
Come
running
on,
a massive
Zoom, just
race.
replace.
Look at Surrey Miss on the outside.
Come on, Zoom, just replace.
This could be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's Israel.
Come on, Zoom.
Is this going to be
Come on,
class?
Israel.
Zoom's running a massive race. One
on,
goes
Israel,
by on the
keep
inside,
going, you
but
green
it is
horse.
going to be Jim
Keep
Crowley
going, keep-
Masterclass.
yeah.
He takes it out.
God.
Israel then
Finally.
takes it out. A blanket finish in the London Gold Cup.
Oh.
It was slow motion stuff, Barry, but he got it home.
God,
It's gone home all right. Betfair SB at 4.3, traded at a high of 150 in running. A quid matched at 150. At 100, there was 18 quid matched. on your winner. That was Surrey Miss I'm looking at here, traded at a low of even money for for 1,800 quid. Surrey Miss traded at a low of your winner traded at is. Sorry, my computer's just nearly crashed there. High at 24. The winner traded at Israel. High at 24. Betfair SB at 4.3.
Is that when you said he looked in trouble? Do you think?
Yeah,
So
there was only quid at one.
Spot.
Yeah, 20 at 20 there was 24 quid match, and then all the way down, obviously the 101. There was a couple of other horses involved in the finish there. Wineglass Bay traded at a low of 1.7 as well. And then Zoom, who's ran an absolute cracker. Zoom traded at a low of 2-1 on Natalie, would you believe? 1.52. But well done, Kate. Patience is all you need in this game.
Yeah. It's about time, honestly. For my
always comes out.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Barry. Thanks for putting it that way. Finally, for my column. Anyway, I had the 4 bets today. One was an on-runner, then Inverness in that. So it was hierarchy, didn't go to plan. River Pride each way. Thank goodness that went to plan. Then in Israel. So that's all right.
Yeah, I've got 3.
One more weekend for bet.
Listen, I'm 4 from 5, so just if there's going to be some
What? You
excitation.
beaten me?
Oh yeah, of course you were on Israel then.
And
yeah.
the only one I've been
beating
beaten
me?
on was the one that you at Ottoman Fleet. So excuse moi, je dépends.
So what are you? How many of you tipped?
4 out of 5.
4 out of
3.
3.
Listen, don't sell yourself short in this game. and
Oh
will-
no, hold on. I know. I've been giving better each way prices, haven't I?
Well, have they? Okay, so you still got to try and trump me somehow.
Yes.
Can we talk about that
Just say
winner?
yes.
Because that is a good horse, I think, in the make. His mum was pretty good, wasn't she? Tagruda.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if that doesn't want a mile and a half, I'm a Dutchman. As he was running up and down on the spot. And like I say,
Tagruda.
it's a draw race, believe it or not, the London Gold Cup. And it was the one thing we said in all the previews that we did. If this was shorter, it would be shorter in the market, obviously, but you would be very confident that you probably had the right horse, a bit like Bay Bridge last year, like time test. This will now go to Royal Ascot, you would wager. Will it go for the mile 4 handicap? Or will it go for maybe the mile 2 keep for listed company, Tercentenary?
The King George V, would you be tempted with, though?
Yes, very much
that's
so.
Like with a step up in trip. That's sort of what I was
Yes.
first
Yeah.
looking at then. A mile 4 for him,
And
based on his
handicapper
pedigree,
can't
based
go
on his
mental, Kate, can he? Because they're blanketed a little bit.
That's what I was hoping for. It's like this race, for all that we expect group performers in time, they tend to go down the handicapping route for at least the next few runs and anyway, before they really establish themselves. And honestly, for this lad, going down the handicap route, I think will be the best education for him continuing to.
He's rated 89 going into that. He's only won one an X or something. Like he's not going to get too harshly done by the handicapper for that.
No, not at all.
He was second top weight in it, so a lot of judges at the post are saying it's not the race it sort of should be. They've definitely gone too hard up front, Barry, haven't they? I mean, Red Vineyard got sucked into it a little bit, didn't he? I think he was trying to make use of that draw, as was Luminous Light, who's running an absolute
Luminous,
stinker.
and they've set it up for the finishers, haven't they? And they've come down the wide outside. All the action, Surrey missed. You've had the winner, and you've had Zoom all come down the outside. Horses that were ridden more patiently than the ones that led them into the straight. So, yeah, big pace collapse there.
Wow, there we are. So one race left at Newbury. Guess what it is? It is the Lockinge, won by some greats over the years. Are we about to see another come out? He's unbeaten. His name is Baid. And Shadwell and Jim Crowley have just taken out the London Gold Cup. Exciting times. What we're running about. Half an hour away. Get in your thoughts, your 1, 2, 3s for the Lockinge. Best Lockinge memories. Was it Hawkwing or the likes of that? Do you remember that? If you were around in the Hawkwing days, that was almost Hawkwing was almost responsible when winning the Lockinge when he did. Was it 2003, 2004? For all this that we're doing at the moment, you could thank Hawkwing for, because he was the biggest Marmite. Hawkwing 4.
Wasn't he? He was sort of the horse that people felt that he never fully fulfilled the potential. Plenty of people.
But that was his race, right? Where it was like something out of another world.
Yeah.
When he won that. So we'll go through the Lockinge winners and your memories. But Baid, who's opposing him? Let us know. Build up the social interaction, because after the next at Newmarket, which comes up at 3 o'clock, I am so excited about this race as well, because I'm pretty sure I'm about to go 5 from 6 on the show. But let's hear from Barry Orr first.
Yeah, so Salem is your favourite at the moment on the Betfair Exchange at 3.746. Wizard more. Quintilius 5.7. 7 Shine So Bright, and it's 13 bar. I was against Shine So Bright, but it's been a big drifter, it has to be said. But what we're going to do, Kate, we're going to lay Shine So Bright in the place market. So if you just click on the left on the place, Shine So Bright, we can lay it at 2.28. Just put in that we're going to take 50 quid at the backer stake at 2.28. Shine So Bright drawn low Guineas weekend when it won a course and distance handicap in a first-time HUD. Hasn't got the benefit of that draw this time round. Class horse, has to be said. Won the free handicap in 2019 off 106 and finished sixth in the Guineas on his subsequent run that year. But I think just he had everything go right for him last day. He's drawn 8, so he's not too far off the rail this time round. But just sometimes his style of running, I think he might meet traffic problems here. We have a chance of getting him beat out. Don't mind laying him at 5-4 in the 3-place mark.
He wouldn't be a horse that you'd see 2 1s next to, Barry. I don't think when he's got a win, he doesn't tend to follow him up, and it's something that we, encourage our analysts to write that, because they can be a bit in and out, these horses. He's probably one of them. Will the hood work so well? We'll find out. But yeah, the draws could be interesting here. Harry Davis on the Baldings always have the best apprentices, don't they? And Haymaker, it didn't come off for him, but he's a bigger price than you thought he might have been, right? And he pulled it off despite drifting last time. So the class horse in the race, but Barry is taking him on. There's been a proper plunge in this race. He was 9-2 yesterday when I put him up, and it's Salaim for Simon and Ed Crisford, Jack Mitchell on. Replay back to March when we did this show in the Lincoln. A repeat of that run will do for me. And as soon as I saw the draw come out, he's back to 7. Surely, Kate Tracey, they're just going to point this and go.
Yeah, that's what you'd imagine anyway. But then in terms of the pace for this race, I mean, what's he going to have? Free Solo tends to go forwards, Melody of Life as well. But with the pace holding up, though, as we've seen so far at Newmarket today in the main, it's going to be probably less of a concern, therefore. But there is sort of that ever so slight doubt about it.
It's on the further side away from him, though, isn't it? On paper, as we say. It doesn't always work out like this. But if you're looking at what's led in the past, what's been prominent, Humanitarian in 10, maybe? But Bullis on the far side, so he's going to be away from that. Wizard D'Amour in 7 might give him something to think about. Free Solo in 6, like Kate says, but Melody of Life, I thought perhaps the other front runner right on the far side for Royston French and Andrew Balding as well. So this was next best for me.
Are you concerned about that latest runner, or do you just think that he didn't get into a position?
Correct, exactly that.
Give himself a chance.
I think they just thought, right, let's try and ride him slightly differently, and it didn't work out. In the Lincoln, he looked like he had a lot of him in trouble, didn't he?
Yes.
And I know this is a furlong shorter, but coming up that rising finish, I just like him. 92 was the bet yesterday, I think.
Well,
but very short now, but obviously quite a few people are catching on to this Golden Highway, and it looks like him, Natalie Green.
Yeah, I'm going for Quintilis, which is. Look, I think this horse has got plenty of natural pace, like raw ability-wise. The pace is pleasing. There's lots to like about the horse, especially on this intermediate distance. It just seems to really suit him well. He did run a cracker in the Britannia Stakes at Royal Meeting. He did disappoint on his first try in Dubai, but that really never bothers me. Like, it's not a dirt horse or Dubai horse. They're not, I can...
Like Riyadh, people do that with Saudi, don't they?
It just doesn't bother me, just put a line through
whatever.
it. But back on home turf, I think we have plenty to offer for obviously very, very strong yard. I think the only thing is probably why he's not so short in the market. He just looked a little bit quirky last year, like he was keen and he hung quite badly. But hopefully Charlie Appleby, being who he is and the form that he's in, has just put him on point and got him ironed out some of those quirky issues after Maidan. And I'm 100% having a few quid on Humanitarian. It's my wild card, 100 to 1.
All right, hang on a minute. Let's just have a line on Quintilius first, right? Okay, before we go for your wild card.
Okay.
I toyed with putting this up.
Yeah.
I wasn't so worried about the 9th last time at Maidan. I just think he probably is a bit quirky, but he needs to go right. I thought it might go right in this race for him. My worry about him is the dip.
Yeah.
Capital
dip.
Capital dip.
Yeah.
Because he was 6-4 favourite on his debut back in September 2020, and I watched that back, and he hung again. He looked like that. Maybe it was just the quirk in him. I don't know.
No, but I know what you mean. Like, he's just not always looked like that easy in his races, like the hanging and then keen. And then
I suppose if you're Charlie Appleby, you're like, well, we could run him anywhere else. We don't have to go for the dip, so let's give him another chance, aren't we? And they obviously work there, so. Well, and if they're going to have a horse on 99, you look at the pedigree of this chap, he should be quite a bit higher than that. So I can see where you're coming from.
I'm trying to, I can't get anything to load.
No.
Trying to get your bets
Signal gone, isn't it? Yeah, you're having a good day, aren't you? I bet it was always going to turn at some point. Right, this is the 3 o'clock at Newmarket. Lockinge to come after this, and I want to hear your memories. I want to hear your 1, 2, 3s. We're going to put them up as well. Someone thinks she's going to get the trifecta.
I am getting the trifecta.
Which is very annoying.
The exotic queen.
Paul Keeley also like Natural Path in this while we're going on the Keels love. He's due a bit of a change of luck, Keels, actually. He told me in the week, I keep backing horses at prices and they call contract. I said, well, that's because you're writing about them, Kills. And none of them are quite getting over the line. But Natural Path for him here, who on his British form thinks should not be a 10-1 shot. So if you're looking again elsewhere here, it is one of those. Wizard d'Amour is the horse that I can't have. I know he's really... You like him?
Yes.
This is the winner?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get out your magic wand and show me the
So
spell.
my wizard wand there for Wizard d'Amour. Yeah, and the fact he was well enough supported, so he's just drifted back out a bit.
That was a proper gasp then, Kate. I thought it was
Yeah, I've
going
literally
off.
just looked down and I thought, oh no. No, sorry, to your point. Yeah, no, I mean, this is a very, very tricky race, understandably so. But I'm hoping that Wizard d'Amour can reverse that form then with Shine So Bright from their latest start, because Shine So Bright, Wizard d'Amour, he beat it by 1 length over this course and distance. Shine So Bright was giving Wizard d'Amour £6 in the process. This time around, he's giving him £8, but when taking into account, obviously, the claims and such like, he is getting then he's still getting the pool though anyway, Wizard d'Amour, with Harry Davis then riding Shine So Bright again last time out. And Shine So Bright for me was just, he was fairly keen. I think he did do well to win that, but as you say, he's not a horse you can necessarily trust to back it up. And we know how well treated this horse is in this race. The fact that he was rated 115 after he beat Lawrence in the Group 2 City of York, back at York by a head, you know. How well handicapped is he now? But I just can't trust him to back that up for all that we expect Andrew Balding's horses to take a step forwards from the reappearance start. But Wizard d'Amour then getting the weight from him. And clearly the expectations were there for Wizard d'Amour as well last time out. 13-8 favourite he was
Whacked
sent off
him,
at.
didn't they?
Yeah, they absolutely did.
On the back of that Catterick run.
Yeah. That's it. On the back of that Catterick win previously. So I still think Wizard d'Amour has more to come.
My thing about him, Kate, was I wondered if he was the one that's shown his hand a bit more. He was second, third, first, second. He probably is the most straightforward horse in the race.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't care if they've shown their hand as long as they're more straightforward than a few of these. You can go for your unexposed, quirky customers all you like, but
I'm probably being greedy, aren't I? Wanting something like 5s or 11-2 about him in a race like this, but there we are. All right, so we've gone down. Barry, they're going in. Salah 9-2 yesterday. What price now?
Yeah, 11-4 now. 3.80, 4.1 Wizard d'Amour, 6.4 Quintilia, 6.2 Shine So Bright, and it's 14 bar. No real money for anything outside of the top 4 in the market.
Okay, all right, there you go. You've got it there. So market getting it right again. It's been that sort of day so far. I haven't had too many shocks. We've had some big price shouts from the girls in the studio. Have gone really close, but the right horses are sort of winning out there. Are you having a good day? Let us know. Let us know who wins the Lockinge. I've just seen in a survey go up there on YouTube. Get involved. We'll count out your votes in that. And I'm expecting the liquidity for the Lockinge itself to start roaring up. Baid comes out to play, and he's still just a touch under 2s on. The champion miler we're expecting him to be this year. Will he step up in trip? That's the question, isn't it? All right, we've got plenty of time to talk after this race. Sun shines again at Newmarket. We're expecting the stand side to be where they want to go. We'll be giving you all the without markets in the Lockinge, of course. We're giving the forecast. Some people are giving you trifectas. It's all happening. Have you got your trade on yet? Because I know I can see what you're doing on that phone. Oh, yeah, humanitarian. You sort of bigged it up.
No, I just think you'd be crazy not to have a few quid on. Sorry, I think I just spat on you, by the way. Because I put a mint in my mouth, a smint, and then I spat it on you.
It's been that day.
No, what do you mean why? Because it's like...
Come on, second one for Stu
price.
Williams, they're off.
You've got to go for these huge prices.
Well, he's 100-1 if this happens.
Great.
She really will be insufferable. And
I'm going home. If this happens,
it's out
I'm
the
going
back.
home.
He's got absolutely no chance whatsoever. But I am surprised that what are they doing here? Jack Mitchell, you had the chance to get them
Hold them up again.
Absolutely madness, isn't it?
Wonderful for Wizard d'Amour.
Kate Tracey is now going to be insufferable because Wizard d'Amour has got
I've got
the
no
run.
excuses now,
Interesting then that
basically.
they chose not to lead on Salian, but he has got a nice position now. Quintilia's got a lovely run as well. Bullers, they all come across like, the expanses of the Rolling Marlin. And here they are, all trying to get on a 3-metre strip. Sanin Sidro for James Ferguson, whose horse ran really well in the London Gold Cup. Natural Path going well out the back. Humanitarian seeing them all in as well. Kate Tracey, are you going to pull this one off?
I hope so. Well, I've got no excuses if it doesn't, but then he is just slightly under the cosh here. He is being given a few slaps down the shoulder, just being asked to extend again there, which he thankfully is extending away. A few of those are going to have to find the gaps then of those in behind. Shine So Bright, he was keen enough early on
Come on then, the
conserved
fav.
a bit, but come on, Wizard d'Amour, keep going.
Here
keep
we go.
rolling.
I think this is going to be Dave Orton coming here, isn't it?
I'm out of
Come on
this.
then, Salah. What can you do? Light him up, Jack, as he comes out of the dip. Wizard d'Amour not going down without a fight. Shine So Bright is finishing. Has he gone too soon on Salah, or is he going to keep
Yes.
going. He does stay further. Shine So Bright's running an absolute blinder. Don't you dare.
Oh,
no. Picked by Shine So Bright. He went for everything, Jack Mitchell. He went off the rail, pointed on it. My goodness gracious me. Natural Path has flown over third. Barry, the lay's gone in.
Oh.
Yeah, I laid in 3 places as well, so I've done my money in style there. You know, I've seen them win. If it just crept into third place, that would be crippling. But no, he had a little bit of traffic problems early. He had to pull him wide, and he got a clear passage then, and he's won convincingly at the finish. He's full value for his win there as well. Your horse Salem traded at 106, so 16 to 1 on for £1,181. The story of the race, Dave, really, the winner had a Betfair SP of 6.27. So, all eyes to Baid now.
Let's move on quickly. So Barry does his money in style. I basically said he's not a horse that would have 2 1s next to his name.
My runner was really bad.
And I thought, I won 106 and I've not got another winner there. I'm
At
absolutely
least you were
livid
there
about
or
it.
thereabouts. Quintilis was not good.
I think Humanitarian remains a project for Stuart Williams as well, but no,
It's always
Quintilis
worth a go, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, and again, funny race, but Natural Path has run well there. I'll tell you, Natural Path turns up at a big sprint handicap. I'll be very interested in. Maybe they'll be looking at something like the Bunbury Cup even. Oh, all these names that we've got there. All right,
That's a village
all eyes
name,
now.
Bunbury.
Let's move on. I still can't believe I didn't pull that one off. That was absolutely in the bag. I don't know, Salayim. What do you reckon about him? Is he thinking about it a bit? I don't know. All right, OK. A word on Isra before we move on. Is he all there, is what I'm trying to say? James Bernard, intrepid reported at Newbury, the Lambourne King. He says, I didn't think Isra was suited by the track at Newmarket last time. This is Angus Gold. Tick, we said that. I think there was talking he's easier ground. Tick. I wanted to see him on a flatter track, but Jim said again, he might not mind some easier ground. So once again, if it rains at Royal Ascot, he's going to be a proper gamble, this bloke.
Yeah.
From a bad draw with plenty of weight, did really well. Needed every yard. So like his mum, will definitely go further. So we're thinking about the handicap. King George V is mentioned as the option.
Did they mention it? Oh, wonderful.
He's a very relaxed horse who never turns a hair. That is the fab in the London Gold Cup. If you're still wanting some love about that one, Angus Gold basically. Think you're going to get your handicap project there, Kate.
Get my King George V out of
and
his
Angus Gold, we are expecting to be in the news a lot in around about 15 minutes' time. Racing manager for Shadwell, of course. Lots said about the trimming of the operation. But this is one boy who we believe they think we've yet to see the best of. He's unbeaten. He is the best miler in the world at the moment. It's Lockinge time, Barry Orr.
Certainly is Lockinge time, Dave, and no surprise, your favourite is really strong now on the exchange. Baid 1.45, nearly over 600,000 already matched on this race. So 1.45, 4 to 9. Real World 9.2, 14 alcohol free, 16 Mother Earth, Chinda 32. New Mandate's out to 100, the horse I like in the race, and I'm looking to back it without the favourite. New Mandate, and it's currently trading at 16 without the favourite, Kate. We're going to have 50 quid win on New Mandate at 16. We put in, although 100, I think we're going to, you know what we're going to do? We're going to set our own price here, Kate.
Okay.
So what we're looking to do, we want someone to come in and lay us it. So we're going to look to back it, and we're going to change the odds up to, we'll put them in at 20.
20.
And we're looking to have 50 quid on at 20. So that'll go over onto the lay side. We want someone to come in and lay us that bet.
Perfect. In the without market, ideal.
Trade on. Robbie Wilders, who sits in this studio somehow every now and then, the anti-postman, he put this up as well at the start of the week. And I was there at Ascot when he won that day. He hadn't been seen since the old king died, did he? And he came up and pulled it out of the fire. He's an interesting horse. I wonder whether the ground might be a bit quick for him. But look, at that price, you can take a chance. Before we go down the line and get Lockinge opinions, let's get some social interaction, as promised out there from you. Who's built up? Mally D. Marvellous, Mally. Welcome back. Mally Draycott. Good afternoon, folks. Anybody fancy alcohol-free today, or is it only me? No, it isn't. I thought she was the bet in the without market. She was around about 11 to 2 yesterday when I looked. Barry, in the without market, alcohol-free. Can we have a little look at that, perchance?
Yeah, and the without market alcohol-free currently 3.9 on the exchange. It's not a very liquid market, surprisingly, considering the favourite is 5 to 2 on. But 2.92 real world, alcohol-free 3.9. Same price for Mother Earth, 8 Chindit. and we're waiting to get matched on our new mandate bet. And the on the sports book, alcohol free is 11-4.
In the without.
Market. So the without market on the sports book, 2-1 Real World, 11-4 alcohol free, the same price Mother Earth, Chind at 11-2, 13-2 New Mandate, 8 Sir Busker, Sunray Major 10, and 22 Etonian.
It's interesting, Barry, because some of the big firms, they wait, don't they, to put up there without the markets. They sort of wait. And it's not always a gimme when you've got a horse like this. There's going to be a without market.
That is.
You think so? This was a gimme.
Well, they'll always have it without market with an odds-on chance in a big race like this. Yeah.
Well, even in the
and they've two options. Like you'll have it without one, you'll have it without two favourites, and you can have it without the top three in the betting as well.
Okay, so even if it's like an all-weather race, you mean like during the week and there's an on-shot, you will have the options, of course. You know,
ordinarily,
My point being that is he over the line, this horse, already? That's the question, isn't it? Because 4-9 then in that case is. I mean, if you're getting twos on about this, should he be shorter?
Arguably so.
There was a little look into the distance there from Kate.
No, I was just sort of processing exactly that. And then, I mean, I was looking ahead to what price he was for the Queen Anne at this current stage.
So that's a yes.
Then. So, yeah, and I mean, if he goes and wins this, he's only going to shorten up there. And he's actually, you know, sort of not too dissimilar a price then for that. So actually, it could definitely be argued. But then I guess
this is about the right price.
Yeah,
I think it's about
this
the
race
price.
is reappearance start. This has the potential to be a proper muddling race.
Yeah.
There is no pace in this race at all.
This is why you're watching.
This
Come
is
on
the
then.
danger. This is the danger. I mean, alcohol-free could go forward. Real World, I'm hoping, is going to be the one to go for. I say I'm hoping.
Are you putting him up in the without?
No, I'm putting up Mother Earth, but I'm so scared of Real World. Because, I mean, this lad, he's 5 from 5 on the turf. He hates the dirt, and they just keep trying to turn him into a dirt.
They're not
doing it anymore. He won't go back on the dirt.
I mean, fair play to them for trying it, but he's not a dirt performer. But then you always have this concern when you've had a horse that goes to the dirt. Very often we can see a horse's whole attitude to racing changes. It can really sour a horse if they don't take to
me
the
running
dirt.
on the beach, Kate. Oof.
Yeah, exactly. I'd never do that again.
Oh, it's
go running ever again.
Chasing the dog. Come back.
Of course, he is a course winner, isn't he? I remember when he beat Darab, of course, in the St Stephen's Days or whatever. So, all right, he's second favourite, okay, and the handicapper records he's got £7 to find on Bade. Alcohol-free, of course, the Royal Ascot winner. Mother Earth, the 1,000 Guineas winner. And then we are struggling a bit, aren't we, probably, as we go down. But Barry thinks New Mandate will run above himself. Some people still keeping the faith in Sunray Major, of course, the Kingman sibling. But Chindit, lovely horse, isn't he, Chindit?
Oh, he's a wonderful horse.
Lovely.
He's just
and
great,
won,
yeah.
But he had to win that race. I mean, he won a Doncaster on his return despite pulling fiercely. He just sort of fell in, didn't he? It was
he didn't win anywhere near as convincing as I was expecting him to for that race. That race was an absolute gimme of a reappearance start for him in the Doncaster Mile. And I know it'll go down that he still won by over 2 lengths, but he should have won by an awful lot. The manner of the race, I think he should have won that an awful lot more comfortably than he actually did. But he's a wonderful horse. He's just not quite up to the standard of the first 4.
No, my heart's a bit like with Chindit, because I saw Chindit on his debut, and I think there's a video somewhere on Twitter of me filming it, actually, because I just remember it was like
on the
that
town
was
moor.
A Doncaster, yeah. That
he
was
loves Donny,
5th of July 2020. I remember it was a debut, and I looked in the paddock. It was like a wee little thing, but just had so much presence.
He does
about
look
him.
small.
He is small.
He doesn't like the dip.
No, he's small. He's small, but he has something about him. So yeah, there's a bit of heart with Chindit, but realistically, we're looking at the top of the betting, aren't we?
So we've all got Bade on top. We're all unapologetically just expecting him to win. Can we? Right? Is this the moment?
It's quite obvious, but it's the way to get value. So Bade wins, followed by Real World, followed by Mother Earth.
Not alcohol-free.
Well, I can't have them all. Dave, give us a break. If I start muddling and messing,
no, I like that top 3.
My gut is Real World.
So this is the trifecta
on the
in a straight trifecta. Or are you perming him?
I'm straight.
Oh, perfect.
I'm going for this. I'm going for this. Bade, Real World. Mother, of course, alcohol-free to anyone that's listening in is 100% worth an each way bet, even some on the nose. But I can't put them all in. So that's my TriCast straight.
I'm a big Mother Earth fan. I mean, who isn't really? But I really like her. I think she's very honest.
She's consistent, reliable.
What's your TriCast, Nat?
So my TriCast is Bade, Real World, Mother Earth.
In that order?
In that order. No messing, Barry.
Real World. Oh, right.
And mother, because you know what he's trying to do now, of course. This is the workout, right?
I feel like I'm in Dubai in the studio.
It's nice and warm in here today, isn't it?
Very
Bottle of
tasty.
water done. Got to watch your bladder.
What is it? Baid, Mother Earth, Real World.
No,
Other way round.
Real world, Mother Earth.
People are going to be in no doubt about this afterwards, by the way. Zero.
You have to have confidence.
You're on a hat trick with these, aren't you?
And I have
11-1, we're being told on the sportsbook, Barry.
Yeah, I've
I've
just
dreamt about this day.
There's a lot of various combinations, as you can imagine, so I'm trying to get through them all.
Yeah, Barry is sometimes an octopus when we're doing these shows. He's doing all sorts of different things. OK, so thanks, Kieran, for that. All right. OK, so look, started on Midlands National Day, didn't it? Combination TriCast.
Yeah, did I not have one before that?
No, that was the first one because you were knackered from the Cheltenham week and you went, you know what, I'm just going to do this. And it lifted us over the line on that day. Midlands
That
going
was
national.
funny, wasn't
Kate,
it?
Midlands going out. You would have struggled to do that, Kate. 'Cause
Wait, you actually managed to get a trifecta in the Midlands National?
it was on the day. It was in a hurdle race, wasn't it?
Oh, on the day, not in the...
Yeah,
Of the
just before the
national.
biggie.
How on earth?
I mean, Kate couldn't talk at the end of Cheltenham, so
No, I literally couldn't.
the
Good
fact that
girl,
we had to
me.
lift
Yeah,
ourselves
it
in
was
it. It was a
fun,
great show, actually.
Probably having
and
fun.
then you did one. Was it on? Was you get the forecast, didn't you?
It was a top 3 in the market again,
In the
wasn't it?
celebration chase.
Yeah. That was great, but the price wasn't massive, but it still happened.
Grenadine, the lovely, unpronounceable horse that we all want to own of Alan King's.
Why is that escaping? So,
Munir's horse.
No, it was...
so royal.
So royal,
Yeah, so
thank
royal.
you. That was
No,
that
I've had
race,
another one since then.
Well,
No,
don't be
I
greedy
have.
now.
I
All right,
have.
so but you're going for it in this race, and that why not play the race like this, guys? I think out there, right? Why
No,
not?
I've had one that wasn't clipped in Twitter, and I was going to text you saying, why isn't it clipped in Twitter?
Blimey.
Because I was gutted, I was going to retweet
Jamie Philby,
it.
who's responsible for these things, is thinking that wasn't my day, was it? All right, we'll look into that for you. All right, okay, all right, fine. Those are requests.
remember it.
Any more social interaction out there? I can see lots of people watching. Great to have you with us. Chindit may be a yak, but goes well at Newbury, says Trevor, mate.
But he's not a yak.
Champagne with Trevor, I'll tell you what. What do you? I can't all be Frankel, mate. Neil Francis, great to have you back, Neil. Been seeing you in the chat today. Fave Lockinge memory. This is what we like. Watching Racti whoosh up in 2005. What a horse! What a nutter! Yeah, was a bit of a nutter, wasn't he, old Racti? Same as Hawkwing. Of course, Frankel. 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago to this day?
Yeah, 2012, Frankel. That was my favourite.
Yes, it was. Who did he beat that year?
It
Can
was.
you remember?
It was just my favourite.
Well, who did he always beat, I suppose?
That
Egg
was
Celebration.
yeah.
Far,
Far,
for Said
dear
Bin
old
Sarur,
Far.
Real World's trainer.
Night of Thunder.
Night of Thunder.
Night of
love.
Thunder, proving himself.
Ribchester. That was pretty good. wasn't
Olympic Glory, Ribchester,
Bahi.
Rhododendron. That was that photo finish, wasn't it? And Mustachery as well.
Wonderful
Wasn't he the oldest
plant,
ever winner of this
rhododendron.
race? I think one of his
Yeah.
sixth for Smuggles now. Paul Redway comes back on. Right, here we go. Get your eyes out, Orton. Frankel is clearly the greatest winner of the Lockinge. Second greatest horse I've seen. Only Winks is greater.
I agree
Oh,
with the first
Winksy.
part of the paragraph.
Royal or Winksy.
Paul.
I do agree. Frankel would be probably
Paul,
my
are you
favourite.
watching in Australia? Is this what I'm thinking? Is it because this is the great Australian-British debate?
Actually, oh God, I remember this now. Yeah, Paco Boy. God, I remember Paco Boy. Camford
Do we think
Cliffs.
that Paul is bonkers? Or
What was that, for thinking that Winks is better than Frankel?
yeah.
Yes, sorry, but yes. I love Winks. I know there's
Oh,
this
I
whole
love
running
Winks.
joke, oh, Winksy, and
Yeah,
the fact that
Winksy.
she never then showed it out of Australia. But I love
Well,
her.
Frankel never left the
I
British
think
shores.
Winks
No, exactly,
deserves
but
so much credit
So
because
much more credit than she gets from a lot of people. in
yeah,
here,
Frankel
but-
just did what Frankel did. Winks so
Yeah.
much. Why
When
would
my
you change
son was
it?
born in 2015, it's when she went on a rattle, and I couldn't sleep during the night. And I cut my teeth in Australia with racing, but I started getting back into it. Sky, of course, play it all through
Yeah,
the night.
yeah.
And I watched this horse called Winks when start to get on her run.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, Hugh Bowman. She came through, and I followed it all the way through. Me and my son, he grew up watching Winks.
But
And
why would
she's
you always
just an
change it though?
amazing
Like,
horse.
It's a great start to his life, isn't it? Yeah.
Or downhill from there.
Yeah,
He supports
Winksy.
Watford, so he soon came down
Oh
to earth.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, look, great
To me,
memories
she's not better
there.
than Frankel, though.
What, who else? So,
unfortunately.
yeah, OK. Rhododendron, the year she won, of course, she beat Lightning Street, didn't she? Do you remember there was that contentious photo finish and poor Dave Simcock? Lightning Spear, sorry. Somehow Rhododendron was carried home. This is one of the great races. Palace Pier last year, of course, beating Lady Bowthorpe. A lot of people were disparaging about that, but she'd won at Newmarket, of
Yeah,
course.
she
with
got her
And then she
turns.
got her day in the sun at one of the greatest moments of 2021. OK, who wins the Lockinge? Baid, 83%. Others, including Real World and Alcohol Free. I thought alcohol free ran all right on her return. The fact they're getting rid of the hood is key, I think.
And that was
I do.
so negative going into that. That trend for a first-time hood, Andrew Boulding, filly first time up, was such a huge negative. And the market told you that she should have been a serious odds-on. She was an odds-on shot at when the decks first came out, and then she drifted out to 7 to 4 for that. And the market
I think she was a bit bigger before that as well, wasn't she?
Get rid of.
That was, of course, in the classic mile at Aston on return. She came there on the outside, just flattened out a little bit. But we are talking about a very, very classy filly. And again, they could have retired her, couldn't they, of course?
Yeah, they could have. Done fair play to them. But again, would the ground concern you?
Yes, because a lot of her good form is, of course, on with a bit of dig, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she's been beaten by Mother Earth on good to firm snow lands on that day, of course, in the Falmouth.
Yeah. She loves everything, to be honest.
When Mother Earth won on her return, she won something called the Park Stakes. Ain't Brown's got a rotten record in that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, it was a shocking race as well.
It was a poor race, but she managed to win.
And she did only just win it, but again, she should have been an awful lot shorter than she was for that, though. Again, I think the market was telling us the fact she was a 4 to 5 favourite. She should have been an awful lot shorter than that.
She's brave, filly, isn't she? I do like her.
She is my favourite filly in training.
What are we expecting the 3-year-olds to do when they come out? Do you think Bide, that's the moment he steps up his because he's brother to Hookham, isn't he? Who's mile 6, they tried him over. And William wants to go mile 2, William Agus training. Without question, they think they should do. Long season, he said to me yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting him to go Queen Anne on the back of this, then maybe Coral Eclipse, or potentially wait for the Sussex Stakes.
I think so.
Would
I got that feeling.
Trip at that stage, or would you go Sussex Stakes and wait for the job?
But if you win by 7 lengths in the Queen Anne, you want to go and go Sussex. Why change it? It's like the Henderson Alty or Sprinter thing, isn't it?
And then they can wait for the Juddmonte International.
And then wait for the Juddmonte International. You've got Breeders' Cup and stuff to think about as well, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure, it's
all
the
ahead
sun to see
of
the
It's a jigsaw
stars.
puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, it really, really is. And we're not far away now. They're running a bit behind time, actually, aren't they, Barry? Perhaps you can give us an update. Mother Earth looks weak to me.
Mother Earth currently trading at 18.5. Real World is really strong against the favourite now, Dave, is 6.6, so 11 to 2. That's been the best backed horse in the race, bar none, really. 1.47 your favourite, and it's 18.5 bar. 1.7 million traded on it now, and out of that by Eid, we've had 1.4 of that traded on by Eid, of what that 1.7 million. But Real World at a high of 12 into 6.4. There's been 162 grand traded on him, so that's been driving down his price all the time.
Wow.
Was there always going to be an each-way crash in this race, Barry, do you think? Because by 4 and 9, it's that annoying.
Well, obviously,
sort of
this is the win market I'm looking at here on the Betfair Exchange.
Wow.
So it's a win-only market. So he's into 5 to 1 now on the win-only market on the exchange. On the sportsbook, he's also a 5 to 1 chance, and you can bet 3 places on the sportsbook each way betters. So 4 to 9 on the sportsbook, 5 to 1, and it's 10 Mother Earth. But on the exchange, Mother Earth is currently trading at 21.
For the win, of course. Should we
I love our little wow. Ooh.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick some holes in Bide if I could.
Oh,
I think perhaps the ground.
Who are you picking holes in?
I want to try and pick
you've got to
some
try.
holes.
Yeah, you can.
Because otherwise we should be
I mean,
looking
it's
at
all
fives on
nonsense.
shots.
Everything you say is absolute nonsense. But
Well, it might be nonsense, I suppose.
My only concern is if this gets really tactical here. But then even saying that, when he won at Ascot on his last start,
no problems with him.
you know, that was a proper tactical race.
The bridle horse, as I call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He still managed to win it.
why you can't ride from up here, Dave?
Well, I know. You sort of I just think,
hands.
sort of Richard Hughes. I used to do this with Richard Hughes, and he used to sort of come there like
Well,
that.
Chin did pop off in front, no?
Well, it's so keen,
So
wasn't he? What
excited.
about the distances, Barry? Oh, OK, we're off and running anyway. They're finally off in the Lockinge. Good luck wherever you played.
Bye.
is out to play. And Barry's called it. They are letting Chindit stretch on. Very interesting. And Etonian on the near side as well, which will help Real World because he's now got a nice pace to aim at. New mandate, pretty keen. Looking to see how alcohol-free settle. Better than at Sandown. Still pulling a bit, but fine. Sabuska, the old boy, right out the back. Sunray Major as well. Probably one I've not mentioned. Mother Earth. She's sitting lovely. She's a grinder. OK, Nat Green, early impressions.
Chest.
Yeah, I totally get. Mother Earth, she's just got a really low head, and she got her head down because
Like a stayers
away
do that,
there.
don't
She
they?
really is. So I was actually a bit surprised he chinned it where he is, but yeah, getting that nice toe in front, and the others pretty well bunched together, really, aren't they?
What price, Barry? Because he's got the box seat.
5 to 2 on 1.466 Real World, and what you like the rest of them.
Yeah, alcohol free is pretty keen. I've noticed it's hard to see.
Yep, no, Baid is just travelling beautifully there, well within his own range. Down the centre of a track, that's where we saw the winner of a straight track of our first race.
Alcohol-free coming with him now.
Yeah.
Alcohol-free is tracking him throughout. You can see
Real
the
World's in a
evidence
bit of
on
bother,
there.
is he?
Mother Earth will keep responding to pressure. Real World.
Favourite absolutely dances
This
in.
is
doesn't
just
it?
marvellous. Come on,
Baid.
alcohol-free in there without. Chindit's running
Come on,
an absolute
Baid.
blinder, guys.
Real World.
He's given his
Mother
absolute
Earth.
heart and sleep.
Look at this,
Mother
guys.
Earth is just
Come
a little
on,
bit.
Baid. He's going
Whoosh
through the
goes
motions.
Baid
He's going
then.
through the
Okay, Sunday
gears.
Major running on. Alcohol-free's
you
battling
good
out.
horse.
Real World is looking like a mile 2 horse against him, but this is
Good
different.
horse.
Great V. He went to Chelmsford for a skip around the other day. They were over the moon with it, and you can see why.
Just stuck with the 1-2.
You got the forecast. You tried to get greedy and you got the wrong one. I'm not sure what was the Real World. The market knew Barry, didn't it? It was the only one that could possibly get near it. But we're talking about Daylight.
Yeah.
He's an absolute monster, isn't he? He's just the best horse in training, UK and Ireland, bar none. He's a really, really special horse, considering we didn't see him till around this time last year. Or when did we see him last year?
Yeah.
When did he announce himself on the scene? In June last year. We hadn't even heard of him at this time last year, Dave, would you believe? And now he's a monster. Like, I don't know what he's beaten there. And well, he's beaten the right horse in Real World, obviously. And there was money for Real World. That's his first run of the season. He's only going to improve for that. He's an exceptional talent, and it's great to see him.
Best
What a
miner
win.
in the world, I'm going to say.
That will shoot it
In
to
the
top of
world.
the
1 to 2
world
from
rankings.
4 to 5 for the Queen Mary.
He's definitely, well, there you are.
the
So who had the
world.
fingers on the buzz with that? He's definitely the best miner in the world.
In the world.
So what do you do now? This is the question, isn't it? Look, he's beaten the right horse, as Barry said. There were some also-rans in there. We thought, apart from the top 4 in the market, Kate, we may be scratching around. Alcohol-free, she's not quite doing it yet. She might be later in season. Maybe the ground. She made a move. Mother Earth was a little bit flat there as well, wasn't she? They're the other ones that might have upset the apple cart.
Yeah, she was a little bit flat, Mother Earth, really. She was sort of travelling away there happily, and then she came under the cosh. We tend to expect that from her, but she always responds to pressure, and she just wasn't there, really. It very much plateaued. Chindit then getting the run of the race on the front end. He's done remarkably well for a yak to hang along for third.
Done third.
That was great from him, but Baid just travelling through. Alcohol-free, no excuses on that basis. She tracked through the pace, probably would prefer it a little bit softer. So she settled an awful lot better than I was really thinking from her. Real World, he got sweaty beforehand, more towards the stand-side rail then, and he's just given the form, as Barry says, a very solid look to it then, finishing second.
I'd still be very excited about Real World sticking on the turf. I mean, you can't even
Mile
compare
two,
to a
surely.
horse like Baid. Baid's a different grade.
You can go to France, though, can't you, when he's not there and maybe nick one?
That's what I
You might
mean.
look at
When
the
he's
Marois,
not
something
against
like that.
Baid,
Yes, yeah.
Real
Yeah.
World, it's class. Great big action. Fabulous to
I
watch.
hope you're all watching when we spoke
Baid.
to William Aggis on the Racing Post yesterday in this studio, because he just, the less William talks, the more you look into what he's saying. And he just goes, he's all right, he's ready to go.
Because it's quite
They went for a spin around
nerve-wracking,
Chelmsford.
Dave,
I'd
isn't
love
it?
to know who was at Chelmsford
If you've
that
got
day.
the best
because
miler in the world and you're
Yeah.
the trainer, I don't care what anyone says, it's nerve-wracking.
And it's a penalty kick now, isn't it, as Barry said in the Queen Anne.
Yeah.
But you're going to be tempted, aren't you, to have a crack at maybe the 3-year-olds. We'll see what the St James's Palace does. We've got the Irish Guineas next Saturday, which we're covering here for you
Look
on
at him,
RP
Dave,
Live.
in the replay. Look at his neck. Look at his shoulder.
He's just beautiful.
Different.
He settles.
different
He bounces
animal.
off the ground.
He just does he makes everything look so easy. He doesn't have
So
to
easy, effortless,
pull.
isn't it?
So straightforward.
He's got like a nice snaffle in. His gob's not shut. He's
And
It's just like a piece of work for him there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
great.
exactly what it was, Barry. And he's shown up. I mean, Real World, I think you can say, is a genuine 118 horse, which the handicap has got him on.
100%.
And he's run
And a
kind
good
of
yardstick, yeah.
a very good yardstick. He was unbeaten on turf going
and he's
into
going to
it.
win more great races. But
Yeah.
And race fit, you'd have to say, Dave, as well, following his
Yeah.
spins in Maidan. You
Yes.
know, Mother Earth's race fit as well. Chindit race fit.
Very
Yeah.
interesting, Barry.
Yeah.
The last 6 had a run coming into this, including Palace Pier.
And Baid, we haven't seen. It just comes up and does a racecourse gallop.
Yeah, and very
Annihilates
important, I
them.
think, in the wake of the sad passing of Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, that they Shadwell have come into a bit of stick, haven't they, for getting rid of all those horses, and yet they've had the London Gold Cup winner. This chap is the one. I mean, Hissa is his daughter who's really into it. Thank goodness,
Yeah.
because they're so important. And this is a very, very important horse, and it's
You've got to
great for the
respect
Haggis
people's
team.
decisions. A cutback is a cutback. It
Yeah,
doesn't
because they
mean-
were trying to take away the quantity, focus on the quality, but then the concern is whether you need the quantity to gain
get the quality.
So whether or not now they've sort of trimmed off the fat, and they have now got the quality that they had originally. Whether or not they're going to be able to hold that quality going forwards.
But been a great day, isn't it? Who needs jump racing, eh? When you've got days like this on the flat.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So good.
Really good, Barry. So all about the Queen Anne now for the classy buy. We've had a good day.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, the girls put up plenty of winners in there, which is great to see. Well done, Kate. Well done to you, and obviously to you as well, Natalie. And I'll see you again next week, Dave, I think.
Happy days. It's the Curragh, of course, isn't it? Yeah, the Guineas time coming up.
Guineas,
we'll be trying to get a word with Aidan O'Brien in this studio. Here, you've heard it here first, next weekend. So we'll see if we can do the double. But it's all been about Bailly. Great to have you with us. Thanks to Kieran and Sam in the gallery. Kate, Tracey, happy days. Unflustered today. You did a few cool trades there for us. The first one was exciting.
Yeah, the first one sort of was very interesting. Yeah, that was definitely a learning curve early on. It woke me up anyway. But no, it's been okay. Yeah, it's been pretty good then today. So no, I really enjoyed that. And just looking at this lad, goodness me.
Yeah, tune in, of course, later on, your members club. You'll get all the quotes, and Jim Crowley just probably know. I mean, he has ridden some worldies as well, hasn't he? Batashes, if you like, Muharraj, you know, really, really classy. Obviously, this is the one, isn't it? Huckham, of course, the brother.
Huckham.
Yeah, all right.
You'd just love that, wouldn't you? Just be absolute class. I just wish I hadn't been quite so greedy and stuck with a 1-2.
Yeah, next time I'll have a word before we're going in. Nat, it's been great to have you. We'll see you next Saturday, and Kate, we'll see you 2 weeks after that as well.
2 weeks home, yeah.
Great stuff. Lovely to have you with us then. Join us same time next week when we go to the Curragh for Aidan's Time to Shine.